What is going on? It didn't switch the scene. There it goes. Okay, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to episode number 78 of the Pre-Patch Podcast, where apparently I'm going to peak a lot. Enigma's going to eat some crow, and we're going to talk about Sony and Microsoft and everybody else and in the scene. So, welcome in.
Glad you remembered which number we were on this week.
Hey man, hey, you know what? It's because I had to put it in twice, because when I edited it and put it in first, it said pre-patch episode number 7, and then I looked at that really quickly to realize, like, oh fuck, it is episode 78. So yeah, we're going back in time. This is the time traveling podcast. But what going on, everybody? How go you do today?
Me here now. What?
Oh man, this is what happens when you play video games right before the podcast. Like, my mind is just not in podcast mode. It is very much in Dead Cells Castlevania mode, but we'll talk about that in a little bit later. Yeah, episode 78. Super excited to be here. If you guys have not heard or found out, we have got a link tree now, which is out there. So you will be seeing that everywhere. So if you want to follow us in different places, as well as just us individually, you can do that in one easy place. OnlyFans is coming soon. Can't wait for that one, as well as Kick. That's gonna be
maybe
awesome.
You'll see maybe you'll see Feet Finder too. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah. Yo, I'm not okay. Derail for 1 second. It's not really derailing, but it is gonna derail. It's not about feet. It's about Kick. Whoever posted the or was it you, Bill, that posted that thing about how Kick looks like those specific 3 letters?
That
I can't unsee.
Me.
I can't unsee it anymore. I can't. Like, now all I see is that, and I'm like, that's interesting.
Yep. Now it kind of makes sense.
I really wonder if they're gonna change that.
They have to
funny.
at this point. I think it's been tainted.
Yeah.
So
it'd be in their best interest.
But yeah. So anyway, 78. If you're new here, guys, we've got Scruffy, Enigma, Bill, and myself. Holding it down like we always do every Thursday, but we do this show, like I said, every single Thursday live, 10:30 Eastern PM.
I just want to say I've been really vibing with the weekly shows, though. It's kept the energy going really well.
Yeah. I love it. I every time we get on here and get to chat, like, it's a good release, right? We get to kind of go in here and yell at everything, and I get to yell at people, which is always good. So that's always fun.
We get to poke you and, Enigma sometimes.
Go ahead, poke me, because I got plenty of stuff to poke back with now. Enigma has given me all the fuel I need. Fucking epic shill.
What?
Whoa.
Anyway, but if this is your first time, we've got 77 other episodes. You can find us on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast, or on Spotify, or on YouTube, or check out our shorts. They do amazing. We've got some really funny content out there. As well as over on our Twitch page. I mean, you just have a plethora of ways to get in contact with us and be able to get our content. So go check us out there. But we are not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive right into what is going on and what we've been playing. And we always start every single show off with Twitch and YouTube and all that good news and drama. And I really thought that we were going to go a week without it. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and then it did.
Here we are.
And then Twitch delivered. So,
I was gonna say on which front?
A few
because
things.
we have 3 now.
Yeah. So the first thing, I think the first and probably most important thing that is, or prominent thing that happened, is the Twitch CEO of 16 years? Is that what it said? I don't think that is that right? 16 years.
16, yeah.
Resigned today. So
not just resigned, and the Twitter post that had the resignation on it, he disabled the comments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been so engaged with the community up until this point, it was a real shocker to everybody.
Yeah. And the exact tweet that we were talking about is from Emmett Shear. If you're not familiar, he is the CEO of Twitch. Was the CEO of Twitch. In October 2006, we started working on live video for the internet. That became Twitch. More than 16 years later, I am now a father and ready to move on to my next phase of life. I wrote a blog post, but the short version is, thank you so much to everyone who built this with me. And that's it. I think he gave. I think there was more.
There's
There's
a
a lot
more
more.
lengthier one that was
Yeah,
like just a
I'm not
little
reading all
tweet.
that. That's like three tweets worth of shit. Essentially, he said, "I fucked up real bad. I made everything worse. I'm getting death threats. People are leaving. What do I do?" So, yeah. Was he one of the original founders of Justin TV? Right.
I believe so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think people were like happy about this. They said like from what I saw, some of the posts were very ecstatic about the resignation of Emmett. They felt like he was pretty instrumental in a lot of like the downward changes. Um,
And he was just
uh,
disconnected from the culture altogether. Like I said, with him limiting comments to that post in general, it just that's kind of the swan song to his reign as CEO of Twitch, just closing the doors, not paying attention to anything anybody in the community has to say.
Apparently,
yeah,
there
It
was
was slightly
a
poetic.
there was a tweet that Twitch itself, Twitter account, also sent out that I guess got deleted like minutes after it was posted about him. So I don't know. I didn't even see what that was. I just heard about it.
yeah. Now it was like we have no one that's stopping us, bitches. We're gonna run rampant because the
We're,
next
we're going to be the next kick. We're going back to Justin TV days.
Right.
the
I'd be
next
okay with it, man.
fucking news that they announced right after that was, or not announced, they definitely didn't announce it, but people are finding out was oh, by the way, we're going to change our payout structure for ad incentive. The thing that everybody loves, the running ads,
Yeah.
the pre-rolls, which I'm sure if you're on our Twitch side, you're probably getting a pre-roll ad right now and you're not even hearing this conversation because it's 30 minutes worth of pre-rolls so that you can get a variable amount of money that you have no idea what it's going to be. I'm
All
sorry,
in one
Enigma,
breath, by the way.
I probably peaked. But,
Probably.
anyway,
Sin, you peaked a few years ago. It's all right.
Ooh.
oh, that's funny. Well, at least I hit puberty. Let me know when you get there. So, but yeah, so that's the other news is that Twitch decided like to just shadow drop this this stuff about how if you go to your pre-rolls and ads, like if you're a partner or actually I think it's anybody, but partners mainly are the ones that saw it. You go and you look at like your ad incentives, they give you a certain thing to run a certain amount of ads, you get a payout. Well, it used to tell you like exactly what the payout was going to be for a certain amount of ads. Not only did the price drop again, right, which it's been steadily dropping, but also now it's variable based. So like, it's
Oh,
like,
God.
you could maybe get like $100, you maybe get $300. We don't know.
So not only are they really dice rolly with their ban and like that process, now it's actually the money that's a dice roll.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep, and Emmett took the dice with him. So he walked off with those dice. So I don't know.
Okay, they were loaded anyways.
It's they were very loaded. So I don't know. Like that's kind of crazy.
I'm curious if the fanfare continues. Have they announced who's going to be taking over as CEO?
Yeah, the second in command, Dan Clancy, he's the current president, is going to be stepping into the CEO seat.
Do we know anything
Effective immediately?
Do we know anything about this guy? Does he have anything coming? Because it's ironic that like YouTube CEO and Twitch's CEO have both stepped down within like a month of each other. So
because they're going to kick, baby.
I'm just curious if he's going to be as like apprehensively positively received like Neil was, because Neil's still sketch, but he hasn't done anything bad yet.
I looked up this Clancy guy. I've not found anything on him really. Like if you Google him, there's not really a whole lot.
It's because he doesn't exist. He was created by ChatGPT and AI, so
That'll be it.
Would not be surprised at this point.
Biggest question about all this is he related to Tom Clancy? Because if so, that may be a win. We may have a win on our hands. So
he's working for Twitch, not Ubisoft. The only way we would have a win is if he went to Ubisoft and gave us a new Splinter Cell game.
Aren't they bringing out a new Splinter Cell game? I thought I could have sworn
they've been saying that for years, and it's going to be open world or some shit because Ubisoft. They'll find a way to mess it up.
So Twitch is going to be renamed Dan Clancy's Twitch.
Dan Clancy's Twitch. That's great. Run by Ubisoft. So if you man, that would be great.
I mean that would make the Hyperscape tie even that more interesting.
It's funny. Anyway, so look, there's an opportunity here for Twitch to really stand up and do, or this, Dan, to really stand up and do something great. Is he? Probably
Will they
not.
take that opportunity? Probably not.
Well,
Probably-
Amazon let
probably.
him is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with his step down with this, I don't think. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, right? His post is all smoke and mirrors. I think that this is just another way. Personally, I've thought that Amazon is trying to devalue Twitch as best they can. Having a CEO step down doesn't usually ever showcase that your company's doing exceptionally well. The amount of people that have left, Kick, kind of starting out like, Twitch has taken some beatings, and I think that Amazon is looking at a way to, get rid of the company.
I'm telling you, man,
so-
if Microsoft bought them up, then we would have a show. Then it would
Would.
be on, man. I think that would be like one Microsoft acquisition I would be 100% on board with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still think it's in the realm of possibility. That's out there.
Unless
So
Sony has a say about it. 'cause
I was
they
about
have
to
a
say,
about
do
everything.
you think Sony would want exclusivity for Twitch on their platform?
You
Maybe.
can no longer stream off of Sony consoles to Twitch.
no, that'd be hilarious. No, then
yeah.
they would buy Kick, and then it would
Yeah.
just be Sony
my
against
God.
Kick, and
Oh, wife.
Microsoft's got tits. Oh my God.
What?
Oh, my wife's been out of town for too long. I'm lonely.
This is devolving into a really weird podcast.
I told you to let me leave the title as "Hell Here We Come," but now I can't. It's just so.
Ugh.
Hell's safe for titles. What are you
Is it?
talking
Did
about?
we
I wasn't
did we
sure.
change the title? Because the Twitch title is "Hell Here We Come."
Well, you can
I-
have that, but Scruffy came in here and was like, "You need to make sure you change the title because the algorithm of YouTube
Oh.
doesn't like curse words in the title."
yeah, that's right.
Whoa, I
YouTube
thought
YouTube doesn't like
YouTube
curse
doesn't
words. I
like
forgot
That
about
wasn't in the things though. Like
That-
hell's
that-
fine.
that
Hell's
word
fine
wasn't
in all
listed.
contexts. You can put that in the thumbnail if you want. You can have the
YouTube
title
don't want you doing the
just said hell,
swears,
hell, hell,
man.
hell, hell, hell,
Oh
hell.
hell! All right.
Damn
Let
it,
all
Scruffy.
break loose.
You ass. Anyway, so that's the Twitch news. Is there anything else that I left out? I think I covered both bases. Was there something else that they did too?
Just the stream awards. Just
I don't want to talk
You're-
about that fucking. I'm not talking about that.
Okay,
I
that's fine.
refuse. You guys, no, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not. You guys, this is the rare moment where I'm going to be quiet and you guys can talk about it if you want. I can't stand the fucking thing, but this is for you guys. You guys talk about it if you'd like.
I did not tune in.
It was what
It-
you would
it was-
expect. It was
it
a
was a
circle
circle
jerk,
jerk, yeah.
and then there were people that ruined the after party.
The only ones that actually made a difference for me was I think it was called Philanthropy of the Year, and it was
Yeah.
won by
Charity,
Sea Dog VA, and he did I think that he rightfully deserved that because in comparison to everybody else that was in contention for that title, like I think not Ludwig guy. What's the chubbier guy that used to play with Dr. Disrespect? I forget his fucking name all the time.
Timmy?
Tim?
Yeah, Tim. I think he did I think he did like a PC build.
He's gonna find this somehow.
That's fine. I mean, Tim, I'm chubby too, bud. There you go.
We heard that.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he did like a PC build, and there was another one that was like they did a 24-hour stream on fucking Christmas or something like that, and fucking Sea Dog did a 500-mile
Yeah.
biking thing. Like I'm okay. Like he did 500 or like I think it was like 750 kilometers. I don't know if that's exactly 500 miles. I think it just comes in like just under it, like 470 or something like that.
Still
But
a ridiculous amount of
he
biking.
raised like $320,000 for I think immune disease
Nice.
stuff. So that's the only one that I was like, yeah, that deserved it. The rest of it was just a circle jerk of streamers that were like, oh, yes, please fucking adore me more. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Just so that we're clear, by the way, I looked it up to make sure. Abbreviated or censored profanity or words like hell or damn in the title, thumbnail, or video are okay for ad revenue and monetization.
Well,
Okay.
hold up. It
I,
says okay. It
was
doesn't say
wrong.
acceptable. It says okay. They can still get you for it. I bet.
They probably can, but whatever.
because Daddy YouTube don't like you swearing.
It literally says hell or damn. Those are the examples they give, and this content gets the green light 100%
But it says
of the time.
okay, not
No,
that's
it
what you
doesn't.
can.
I put the okay in there. I
Okay.
put the okay. It says
Okay,
this
okay.
content can earn ad revenue. Hell or damn okay. Abbreviated. Yeah. He's good. He's
Well,
good. I
let's get the
promise.
hell back then. Sin, get it back. Get back in here.
Yeah,
So-
I'll mix. Wait. Are you saying that I'm the hell? Hell hath no
That is
fury like
accurate.
sin
You are
scores.
That is actually accurate. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, why do I put up with you guys? So yeah, so that's the streamer awards. And also I will say that the only thing I'll say about streamer awards, well, it's streamer awards, it's just about person that ruined the streamer, ruined the after party. I called it. I said that person was going to fucking kick. I called
Yep.
it, and they went to
Yeah.
It happened.
kick. Yep.
No shocker
So-
though.
No, that's
When you start throwing propane heaters into the pool, that's where
Wow, I had
Yeah.
not heard about that.
yeah,
Oh,
propane heaters into the pool was like trying to push people into the pool, like passed out and flailed on the ground, like,
vomiting everywhere.
yeah, claimed they had a seizure, but they didn't have a seizure. They were just like
Yeah, that's what I heard
alcohol
about.
poisoning to the max.
intoxicated.
Yeah.
That is some kick behavior right there for sure.
So, yeah. All right. On the YouTube side of things, we did have some updates and news here. So, YouTube TV is changing. We covered this a while ago as far as like rates where there was talks and things of that nature, and now rates are going up again for YouTube TV. I don't know. Does anybody? First off, who? It's going up
The-
$8, by the way.
The 100 people that have YouTube TV,
Yeah, I don't.
they're
I
gonna be
don't
real
understand
upset.
this, man. Like, who's paying for these things? Like, who?
The only
is
thing I can
buying
think
this?
of is that they're going to be actively like pushing to get like more content to it. Because the only way I could understand a price hike is if you're actively bringing more like mainstream content to the.
I'm pretty sure
program.
there's a lot of people that go for YouTube TV because it's got the stuff from PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye has a couple of I think
You
one
don't have to have
TV
TV
show
for
on
that.
there.
You can get it for premium.
Is that Red? Am I thinking of the
You're
different?
thinking of
the
Red.
different one?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
YouTube
different
TV is just like a Netflix streaming service.
Gotcha.
Of just
Well,
just
yeah.
live service. It's just
Yeah.
live TV.
But it's a bit
I
more.
think
yeah,
I think it's
live.
funny.
Yeah, it's more like cable, but like streaming.
And
Oh
price.
yeah, it is. ABC, CBS, Fox News, ESPN,
Yeah, it's
all the
yeah,
goods.
It's basically just Hulu. It's like Hulu Live. Like, it's no different. Like,
Yeah.
you just get the same shit. Like, I don't know. But what I mean, it's going up $8. Like, here's the lesson in all this. If you have YouTube TV, like, spend that money somewhere else, because it's a waste. Like, the point of all of this was to cut the ties of cable boxes and get it into a cheaper price, because it's digital, and it's not. It's just as expensive now. It's if not more.
There's
like,
a lot of channels though.
yeah, that's great, but it's still $73 a fucking month.
Like,
Like,
I think this has more like options than like Roku and shit like that.
I don't know. I don't even know who. Like, again,
And they're like big titles too. Like, it's got Disney, like all the Disney stuff. It's got all the news centrals, ESPN,
I don't know
FX.
what the other packages have with like other
Sci-fi.
streaming sites, but
you
I
want to
mean-
know what the crazy thing is about this? Is that a lot of the stuff that like major events that people would grab this for to watch these kind of things is
Yeah.
already on YouTube Live. Like, most of these things are streamed, or it's up on YouTube as VOD content. Like, just go watch it on as a VOD. Like, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, TV prices are going up, so there's that. And then the other news, which in my mind was pretty big, it actually is very big, is if you guys remember, we talked about the FTX kind of fallout with a few months ago with, you know, Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency and
The CEO of that project running for the hills.
Yep, and basically rug pulled, and then NFTs and all these other kind of things. So FTX is in a class action lawsuit, and part of that class action lawsuit, our YouTubers are being claimed for promoting it, which You know what? To be 100% honest, like I'm, you know, I've talked about cryptocurrency and things of that nature on my own my own podcast, my own channel and
Is there
things.
something you want to tell us, Sin? Are you
Yeah.
cheating on us?
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
got a
Yep.
he's got a Dogecoin and FTX
Uh-huh.
podcast on the side,
Yeah.
bro.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. But that's, you know, I do think that cryptocurrency and things of that nature is the inevitable future of where banking will go. This caused some serious problems, but what I am happy about this, that they are being sued in this lawsuit, because you should do your due diligence as a content creator who has influence over people, to do your homework to make sure that the things that you are promoting are legitimate. Now, could the flip side of that is, could you have known that this dude was gonna fucking do this, and you know that they were just going to basically screw everybody over? No, right? So they're calling everybody and anybody that had ties to promoting FTX. I think a majority of that's probably going to get thrown out, but the ones that did actually know, because there was a large handful of people that actually did know about what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
That's
I was
still
about to say there was a lot of like high end like celebrities and shit that knew what was going on and were using it to fund the fucking money, and essentially just
well, it
what
was money
what's the
laundering.
word for it? Yeah, money laundering. That's what I was looking at. But there was a ton of people, and I'm sure that there was plenty of fucking YouTubers that were doing it as well. So yeah, 100%. I think if they were doing that, then they deserve it. But
Yep. So you know, and by the way, CoffeeZilla is the one that broke this news. If you're not familiar with CoffeeZilla, amazing kind of
Investigative journalist.
yep, internet sleuth, internet detective is kind of his own terminology, but yeah, he I think he's sketched to put journalist in his title, but he does a phenomenal job. His content is amazing. I really recommend going and checking his stuff out. Um, but he actually did a very good uh, kind of scammer get scammed series where he went up against what was his name, Dylan. Oh my god, what was that guy's name? He's like a big he was an MMA fighter or UFC fighter
Mm.
that went over to starting creating content, and you know, friends with Logan and all this other kind of stuff. Anyway,
Right.
he basically showcased like the problem with this, which is that they don't read anything. They don't read any of the description, and it's fake. All of these, you know, cryptocurrencies, and they get paid, they hype it up, you know, they and or whatever else, and then people dump money into it, and then it rug pulls, right? And this stuff happens. That is very dangerous. That is a toxic thing. And so I'm happy they're getting sued. You know, like you rightfully should, in my opinion. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys have any thoughts
100%.
about it. So
It's yeah, I'm all on board with it. I feel like a lot of the higher up content creators that are into this kind of like sketchy stuff should be held more accountable. And I think it's going to start happening more and more, not just with this kind of thing, but also with like broadcasting rights and stuff. I think a lot of like sports events, like live event type stuff, is going to start hitting streamers pretty hard with like not purchasing broadcasters' rights and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I think this also sets a good example for anyone else in the future, who want to maybe promote something of this, like again, I mean, it's all sketchy territory, so yeah, I'm for it. Sets a good example,
Right. So
even if nothing comes from it, like you just said. Who
I
knows?
mean, I think something will come from it,
Some
at least. Like
from the ones that, like you said, know about it.
right. The,
Or
the 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 bigger problem is that it's not whether or not these creators are going to learn their lessons, or these
yeah,
companies are going to learn lessons. This should be an eye opener for fans of these creators, right? And you know what? Just because someone goes in there and says, you know, whether it's a product review, whether it's something like this, whether it's promotion, like do your homework, right? Like I literally work in this space and can tell you, like, um, you know, conversations like that happen constantly where, you know, it is, do not promote this if you do not like it. Like if you do not like the product, we do not want your promotion. We want your honest feedback. Like, so it's you know, if you as a viewer are just listening to one person say something and then going from there, like, you know, it is also on, you have responsibilities of your own to do your own research and homework. So
yeah.
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
um,
Sure.
and we're saying that as a group of creators that literally go and, you know, play games and recommend them and all those kind of things. So, speaking of which, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, yeah.
Hey, that was pretty good.
And these games
Yeah.
are not scams to our knowledge.
Yeah, to our well, one of them definitely is not. I literally have this game like on my on my wall. So, um, I want to talk about. Let's see if this works. Hey, the button worked. Amazing. Um, so this Dead Cells is not a new game by any way, shape, or form. But Dead Cells Castlevania is the newest DLC, which launched back on March 6th. Um, I want to do something that we don't normally do, which is play sound. I want you guys to hear the freaking soundtrack to this. It is legitimately amazing. I need to make sure I'm not going to blow your guys' eardrums out. Give me a second.
Brace yourselves.
I don't think I don't think you guys are gonna be able to hear it though.
To be fair,
And-
Castlevania soundtracks have always been like amazing. One of my favorite soundtracks in like gaming is the Castlevania Curse of Darkness OST.
yeah, I'm playing it in the background, so the chat can hear it. Unfortunately, you guys will not be able to hear it. I recommend you guys go look it up. Look up Bloody Tears. But like once you get into this Castlevania level, it kicks into this music that's so different than the Dead Cells music, and holy shit, like it sounds so good. Like you literally just almost get chills just kind of listening to it, and like this, like how it's very much of like the old school Castlevania 8-bit style of music, but then they like upped it to like the new version, and it just like I'm so blown away by how well Dead Cells and Motion Twin and Evil Empire are doing with this game. Like it very well is one of my favorite. It is my favorite game of all time. Like because it's just so much fun, and the way they introduce like the characters and things like that. And
Do you actually
like
play as the characters, or are they just skins?
so they are they're skins over top of your own. So you're still playing as your guy. You don't as far as I know, like I've not gotten super super far into it, but
Gotcha.
as you play,
Because I noticed like Trevor, I noticed Sypha, Belnades, and
yeah,
like
you meet them right out of the gate. Like
an Alucard.
and it's the what's so good too is like the atmosphere is so well done. You know, Dead Cells has a very distinct look and a distinct feel. Once you
Yeah.
step into Castlevania, they true up a lot of these like angles and some of the pixels and make it a little bit more smoother to make it fit into this world. And the weapons, awesome. The characters, awesome. The enemies, awesome. Like the way that they handle like the bats, it just I'm just gushing over this again every single time.
No,
Dead
it
Cells does
looks
something.
great. And
It's-
I'm a huge Castlevania fan, so it's definitely something that I need to try out at some point. Dead Cells was one of those games where I enjoyed it for a few runs, but I didn't get like it never hooked me 100%, even though I do find it to be one of the better roguelikes out there. I don't know. I just don't think roguelikes hook me like they get a lot of people. But it is an exceptional game, and I think this definitely is going to bring a lot of people back, or maybe some new people in there
I
that
mean, this
are.
looks like the perfect, honestly, like crossover.
Well,
Because
Dead
like
Cells was heavily themed on.
already, yeah, like the dungeons and everything, like this just fits, and like it's honestly like kind of a seamless like transition into this crossover. It looks great, honestly.
It really is like, and the way
Yeah.
that you I don't like just the way that they innovate Dead Cells and continue to kind of take this game that's been out for a long time. I mean, it's been out 3. I don't know. Actually, I can let me see.
About
Do I have
2 or
it?
3 years, I think.
I mean, these
2018.
crossovers give it
Yeah.
endless capabilities of what it can do.
Right. And I mean, they have, if we're looking at this, so they've got this is original, this is original. They have, I think that was original. Where is their, all of the stuff that they did? Because they've done, actually, it's
They've
not
done a
in here
few.
'cause
They did like a Hollow Knight crossover
Yep.
and stuff like that too.
They did
lot-
the Terraria crossover.
Yep, a lot of the we don't talk about that one. A lot of these are and that's the other thing. A lot of them are free. Like a majority of these are free. They're not this one is a paid one, but it's worth every penny. And it's $10. Like you can buy all of the everything for $30. You will get so much content out of $30 for that. Like it's well worth every
Well,
dollar.
on sale
it's
right
on
now, it's
sale,
$50
yeah.
total.
Even at 50, it's still fucking well worth the money.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
you could buy,
there's definitely enough content there for that value.
and it's just again, they innovate and they keep adding things and changing things and putting things in there that like new weapons, new ways to do stuff. They integrate it into Twitch chat, so like Twitch can now screw around with you, and they can enable things and turn stuff off or whatever else. And then I mean, it's just, and then they added like a speed mode, they added a challenge mode, they added a god mode, they added a boss rush, I mean, it's just constant of just keep like, and for a game that's 2018, we're 5 years, right? Like 5 years old, they're still coming out with stuff. Like, you tell me what developer does that? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
No Man's Sky.
Well,
I was about to say there's a lot of fucking developers that do that.
yeah, okay.
Games as a service these days is they don't do it well necessarily, but
League of Legends, fucking.
Well, okay, League of Legends doesn't fucking count. No, absolutely, I will not. I'll accept No Man's Sky and things like that, but
I mean, for indie roguelikes, I mean, this is definitely up there. This tops it.
I mean, for a game that's literally that could have been a one and done, right? Like it literally just could have been a one and done, and there's no need for them to do.
I mean,
or maybe
they
one or
saw their
DLCs.
own potential. I mean, and they're responding with it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So anyway, that is Dead Cells. Castlevania. I really recommend going and picking it up and trying it out if you are a Dead Cells fan or if you're a Castlevania fan.
I believe. I mean, it might have been taken off. I believe Dead Cells is also on Game Pass. Somebody might be able to. But I believe it used to be.
Let me take a look here and see.
If you haven't played it and you have Game Pass, I would definitely check that out.
It's on sale right now as well.
It's a great deal too.
For like $12. Like,
it is not on Game Pass.
It's not. It left Game Pass. It was on there, and then it came off.
Sale.
But also too, just real quick, Game Pass. God, dude, I just happened to pull up Game Pass again just because every once in a while, like I just picked it up and looked at it, and I'm still blown away by the games. Dude, Wolong, which rightfully so. Please, dear God, don't buy that game. Play it on Game Pass for PC. It's on there. Like it's completely playable. Like Square Enix is bringing a shit ton of stuff to the Xbox, whether it's the Game Pass or just in general. Like it I don't know, man. That value is so good, especially if you're a PC player. Like
they're getting a lot of good day ones too.
It's just nuts, man. It's crazy the value that's there. So also, by the way, since we're talking about Game Pass, and Steam, the Steam summer sale or spring sale is going on. Phenomenal time to pick up some of your games if you want to pick up any of those. But Bill has a Steam Deck, if you didn't know that.
I did.
And you did? Did you get rid of it?
Oh no, I do. Sorry, I do.
Present tense.
I got it. I actually got a Steam dock not the official Steam dock, but I got a dock for it so that I can hook up to the TV now. It actually runs a lot better than I expected it to.
Nice.
So
Yeah, it really does.
What's next? A Steam. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it.
But you can easily, without having to do anything serious, play Game Pass games on your Steam Deck via downloading the Microsoft Edge and having Game Pass Premium to have the cloud service. So it streams through the internet.
So the Steam Deck also has edging capabilities?
Oh my God. Yes,
Wow.
you can edge your deck. Go ahead.
You can also get like
as well.
You can also get like Epic Games and Blizzard and all of that stuff on there. Pretty well any launcher you can get access to.
I polish my dick all the time.
I think you took the E and put the I in, sir.
No. With this famous dick polisher.
Yeah.
I went right over Sin's head.
Man, no, I'm just thinking about the. Oh God. Okay. All right.
The polished.
It's okay. We can say hell on YouTube. I'm sure we can say dick. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Do whatever you want with your dick. I don't care. Anyway, but yeah, by the way too, if you are in the market for a Steam Deck, you can pick one up for 10% off right now because it is a 1 year anniversary of that coming out.
I'd just like to say I think we've gone full kick this podcast.
Sure, why not? I'm gonna be throwing heaters in pools and vomiting on people while I'm at
I
it.
thought we were going full dick on this podcast.
Jesus Christ.
Got him.
So anyway, you can get a Steam Deck on sale, 10% off. And if you're concerned, this Valve did come out and say that they will not be launching a new Steam Deck for at least 2 years. I don't know if they're going to hold to it, but I would trust them that they'll probably not come out with a new Steam Deck for 2 years. So, but yeah, so there's that.
Just to let you guys know, the deck, it's not about the size, it's about how hard the wood is.
That is not true, sir. It is absolutely about the size of that deck. So I don't want a smaller one. I want a bigger one.
That's one more battery life.
I do want.
Don't
more
we
battery
all want
life.
more battery life?
We
I'm
all
sure that
want
everybody
battery
wants some more battery life out of their dick.
God. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so
Trying.
I'm literally, you know what, this is, you literally threw me off. I don't even know what the fuck. Oh, CS:GO. Okay. All right.
Speaking of another game that's been out for 8 million fucking years.
I am has started, or not started, but I played CS:GO for a little bit while I've been on my break and hiatus. And the only reason of that is because there is a huge rumor that Counter-Strike Source
Source
2 is coming out. What are do you guys care? I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Like, do you think? Yeah.
I mean, I used to be a CS:GO and CS 1.6 enjoyer. I wasted many hours of my life with that toxicity. But there was a time that I enjoyed it. And I almost kind of wanted it to come back with Valorant, but I didn't get that. It just didn't. It just wasn't that. It was a different kind of toxicity Valorant has, and I wasn't for it. So I'm definitely I'm eager to see what this rumor has, because I really don't know like what it's gonna, like, if it's really drastically gonna change it or not, or if it's really just gonna be kind of a prettier CS:GO.
Regardless of the rumor, it's drastically increased the player base on base
It has.
CS:GO right now. It's went up
I'm
500,000 players.
And
I'm gonna say
before
something that
um,
Bill is gonna like,
go
and
ahead.
it's Counter-Strike. Or Counter-Strike Source is the less superior version of what's
Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege. Yes. There you go.
I think they live.
You're crazy.
I actually had an argument with my
Side by side.
cousin the other day about both Counter-Strike and Siege. He said they were both shittier versions of Call of Duty Seek and Destroy.
Get out of here.
Search and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
No.
no, absolutely not. I mean, I'm trying to find. I want to find the chart that is out there about like online games and like the most played online Steam games.
It's one of them.
And it's
don't
not one
doubt
of
it,
them.
yeah.
It's dominated.
Probably the
it's-
top. Yeah.
Like the past like 2
I'm
or 3
looking
years,
at it
it's
right
been
now.
drastically going up, and it's kind of crazy. I don't even know
It is
why.
still the top. It's almost doubled the second one, which is Dota 2.
Well, like when
Yeah.
you look at, there's a video on YouTube that shows it. But like when you look at like the like change over years, right, of population, like they do, they have this video of like population growth for countries, and they do the same thing where it's like over the years of where you see it, like it's in, like you see PUBG all of a sudden blows up, right, and that's where
Yeah.
you see Counter-Strike start to take a dip, and then it maybe held that for maybe a year, and then that was it. And then after that, like if a year, I would actually probably say maybe like 6 months. After that, it just Counter-Strike exploded again. It never has looked back. And the amount of money there was today, it came out news. Someone spent $250,000 on a gun skin in that game. Like
That is wild.
That's
I-
not even the most
is-
expensive one, I don't
Nah.
think either.
No, there's
Nah.
been more, but
but it's just nuts.
don't-
Like
And it wasn't
think-
even an NFT.
I think that what's it called? 1.6, the original was a lot better than Go. Whenever Go released, I used to be a big fan of 1.6, but Go released and I don't know, it just lost something.
I don't know. I think Go made a lot of needed adjustments and improvements that 1.6 didn't have. Um, I think a lot of 1.6 is definitely just nostalgic fuel, and like it was a very archaic version of
Sir,
CS:GO.
I was playing 1.6 when you were in fucking diapers. You shut the fuck up.
You are outlashing at me because you just feel it's very
Shut
nostalgic.
the fuck up. It's far superior.
I was playing
1.6 was so much
too.
better, dude.
It,
We used to play that thing.
it was. I mean, it wasn't better, but it was it was a
It
good
was so
game.
much better. It was 100% better.
I
We used to play that in our in my high school type class, the typist class. You know how you had to go and type your little fucking sentences. You know,
yeah.
I had a pretty quick typing skill, so therefore I'd get it done quickly, and a couple other kids did, and we'd have like little CS or 1.6. I about said CS:GO. 1.6 fucking LAN parties.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had. I mean, I played Cal League. Like, I
Yeah.
remember playing Cal League, and I remember playing 1.6 and all of those kind of things. So, you know, it's a. I really do, because I was actually thinking about this, right? Like, as I was riding, you know, taking my kid to school, we were talking about Call of Duty and video games and all of these things, right? And you know, we're going to talk about another one that's coming out here shortly, but um, uh, there is a lack of competitive or lack of development when it comes to competitive shooters, right? Like right now, competitive is definitely in the space where like MMOs were, you know, a long time ago, where it was you basically have WoW and Final Fantasy, and that's it. Like everybody, you know, had that wave where they developed for them. They were trying to get competitive shooters, you know, but now you've got Call of Duty and what? Like I guess you could consider Valorant,
Call of Duty,
Overwatch.
Valorant, CS:GO, and Siege. Those are the big four as far as like competitive shooters go.
And you said Overwatch, right?
I
Did you
didn't
play
say Overwatch because it's not.
We have
It's
to
not.
include Crunker as well, guys. Like it has to be a thing.
But when we're talking about like competitive style, you know, things like that, you know, that's really kind of it. And I think that there is a spot where, you know, something like this needs to happen, where there, you know, Counter-Strike 2 coming out would, or Source 2 would absolutely, I think, shake the foundation of
I also think
competitive FPSs.
I also think that you need to hold your breath on some of these rumors, because we all know how well Valve gets out actual games. Like we've been waiting on Half-Life 3 for how long now?
It's
Well,
coming.
yeah,
Bro.
look at
It's coming one of these days, man.
Man.
look at Days Gone, man. I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but-
all I'm saying is hold your breath on that, man. Like I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Whenever I see anything that comes from Valve in general, and people are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's a rumor CS:GO 2 coming out," I'm like, "Yeah, show me the proof
I was
first."
very shocked to hear people were saying that these rumors could potentially be like this week or
well,
like.
I mean, it's
Do
look,
you,
man.
d- so with Source 2, is this like them updating the game
That's
to a new
what I
engine,
wanna
or is this
know.
going to be like a new game overall where people are going to have to buy it again?
That's what I want to know, really.
It's 100% going to be another game. They might bring it out free to play like they did with Go.
I mean, it's so basically like this is saying like what this is saying, right? This article, and this is from PC Gamer, right? Is saying that, you know, a couple weeks ago, data mined from an NVIDIA driver, which, you know, yes, they've talked about like Half-Life 3 and all those kind of things, but nothing has ever been substantiated by a third party saying that they've got something like this, like an NVIDIA driver, you know, out there for this specific game, right? Which means that they're basically getting it ready for a game ready driver. Like that's exactly what this is saying.
You know
Is
what
that
also had like NVIDIA supporting drivers was the day before.
what? When?
That's true, man. Yeah,
The day before had an NVIDIA DLSS or
and the day
whatever.
before that, they had drivers the day before that too.
Anyway, but they're basically saying that that there's a new version of Counter-Strike Global Offensive on its Source 2 engine.
I
You
don't know.
So
So I don't know, man. I'm just like right now. I'm still hesitant, and like Enigma is saying, like all these rumors, you got to be hesitant with Valve.
Yeah.
But I'm right now, my mind it's going to Overwatch 2. If this does come out,
Yeah.
is this just going to be an Overwatch
It's just
2.
them trying to
I-
update and get more people into
I
it
mean,
again.
it could be like what Dead by Daylight
The
did, where they
the
completely overhaul the engine like in
Yeah.
game.
the thing
That
the thing that I
is
have
what I'm
to
kind of leaning towards because they're changing the source files already in game to like the CS2 or whatever. Like, are they just? Is this just going to be like some update to the source engine and it's just going to overhaul existing CS:GO?
That would be
that's
the best
what
way to go
I
about
mean.
it.
Yeah, I don't think
I would
unless
imagine that would happen.
I mean, yeah, because I don't think that they're they're going to do what they did from CS:GO from CS 1.6 to CS:GO. Like I don't see
And
them
there's a whole new game.
redoing a whole new game. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could, but I don't see the point. Like CS:GO is just such a worldwide phenomenon, and it just is such a success. Like why would you chance
Oh.
rolling those dice and saying, "Hey, we got to come out with another game," versus making it prettier? And the biggest problem that I'm going to see with them doing this is like if that is the case and they're just upresing and making it a better version on a new engine, if that fucks with like the patterns that people have learned of guns
No,
and
I
things like that,
I mean,
like
that's
that.
possible,
But
but
you
I
got
don't.
to you got to remember that the update from 1.6 to Source was not an entirely new game. The update from Source from 1.6 was a free update for Counter Strike, and then they went into Global Offensive, which came out as a new game. Granted, I'm pretty sure that they made it free to play when it released, didn't they?
No.
I don't think you had to buy
No.
it. Is it free to play, or am I
Go?
thinking of
No,
something
you had to
else
buy.
right now?
You had to buy
You
Go.
had to buy Go up until 2018.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
under
I knew
2018,
that they
Go
had made
went
it free to play at one point. I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember when.
That's
So-
kind of when it started to take off.
That's when it
again.
failed. It was 2000 when they went free to play. It kind of
I
dipped
wouldn't
in
say that
popularity.
No, it
Go has
didn't.
ever failed.
It didn't fail.
It dipped in popularity to a
it
point
gained
that they had to
traction, and then it dipped after that. But then immediately after that dip, it spiked, and that was right around the
Yeah,
time
because
of
it went free to play.
2020, and no, that was they only gained like maybe 300,000 when it went free to play. But after that, they dipped and they went back up, and that's right around the time that the pandemic hit.
Well, and it
so-
dipped because of the PUBGs and the battle royale scene, and
Yeah.
that becoming a bigger mainstream, and
That was when
Fortnite, right?
Fortnite was really popping off too with Ninja and all that,
Right.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
So-
so it dipped in popularity and failed.
But it didn't fail. Like you can't say it failed. Like there's no way that you're going to tell me that a game that is holding millions upon millions, more than every
I'm
MMO,
not saying that it
is a
failed
failure.
completely, but I am
It
saying
didn't
that it dipped in
fail.
popularity and failed in keeping the popularity in the player base.
That-
100%, yeah.
Are you saying after it went free to play?
No, I'm saying that it dipped in popularity and failed to keep its player base, and therefore they brought it out as a free to play to get the player base back.
Okay,
Mm,
I mean, it did get the player base back to where they were holding it.
And
when
regardless
they
of the
were free to
pandemic or not, regardless, I mean, a lot of games spiked in popularity when the
Yeah.
pandemic came. Nobody had anything to do.
I honestly
that's-
don't
that's-
even know what we're arguing about anymore.
Yeah.
this is
I
Enigma wants
mean,
to argue.
I'm not arguing about anything. You guys are the ones that are arguing with me. I'm just saying that it failed to keep its player base and dipped in popularity. Yes, that is factual.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I- What in that fucking statement is wrong? I'm having a hard time figuring that out.
I don't know. We're
Yeah.
gonna sit here for another 30 minutes and argue about CS:GO, and we didn't even want to even talk about it. For
Like granted, yeah, it's a great game, like 100% CS:GO.
No, you said it was
Ooh.
shit. 1.6 was
Cool.
better.
Bill, talk
I
to
mean,
me. Talk to me
I
about
still-
Resident
I do
Evil
think
4.
that's true, yes.
Talk to me about Resident Evil 4, Bill.
Are we moving on to Resident Evil
let's
4?
move on.
I'm forcing the move. Talk to me about Resident Evil 4.
So a demo came out, and for the remake that is actually going to be coming out next week, Resident Evil 4, one of the greatest games of all time, at least one of the greatest horror games of all time. It's been in my top like 3 games of all time for a long time.
Agreed.
So I'm extremely excited about this one.
Until it failed to keep its player base, and then they had to bring it out.
Yeah.
It's a remake.
Hey, this
Yeah,
stuff was
100%. Yeah. Did they release a free to play? Because that'd be dope.
No, it's not gonna be free to play. It's gonna be
It'll
50
fail
bucks.
then. It's gonna
It's at
fail.
least not going to be a $70 remake. So
Wow.
that's interesting. But yeah, Resident Evil 4, they put out a demo. You can go and play it now. It's on all systems, I'm pretty sure, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. So it's a lot of fun. They did things right by the original material, and I was afraid that them updating like the control scheme, making it because the original was difficult in a way because of the tankish controls of it. You couldn't like it was more the old school style where once you were aiming, you couldn't move while you were aiming. This one gives you full mobility while you're aiming, albeit slower. But um they updated things in a really good way as far as the enemy AI goes. That was one of the biggest things I noticed with it. The demo takes place in the beginning segment of the game up through the village segment. Where it's basically just a big shootout, which gives a lot of insight on what they're wanting to do with it. The villagers will actively like block, like cut you off. They won't all like route the same way. They'll set up traps for you, like block off alleyways and stuff. Some of them will like if you barricade yourself in a room. Some of them will bust down the one door. Others will go up the ladder out the side of the building and snake their way back down. Some of them will wait outside on the roof for you to then jump out the window. So they did a really good job of kind of how there's more intelligence than I was really expecting from a enemy type in a Resident Evil game. Usually they all just kind of are well zombies walking at you. They actually kept the intelligence with these guys, which canonically with the lore goes with this particular infection.
Nice. I mean, so as a Resident Evil 4 enthusiast, you feel like they've done justice to as far as from what you've played. Like this comes out next week, but right? Like
This comes out next week. As far as what I've played, it feels very well done. They expanded out some things. I have a feeling this is going to be um, fleshed out in more spaces, and I think they're going to bring it back in other spaces. One of my biggest flaws with original Resident Evil 4 was I felt like some of the segments drug a little bit longer than they needed to. The castle, for instance, while the castle is one of the best areas in the game, it feels like it overstays its welcome a little bit. I think this is an opportunity for them to condense that down a little bit. Same thing with the island segment, and they're gonna be able to modify um, those different aspects to make them a little bit more digestible. A lot of people didn't like at the end of the original Resident Evil 4 that the zombies get guns and Gatling guns and like are just gunning you down. um, I don't know if that kind of stuff's going to be coming back. We'll have to look into it whenever the game fully comes out and cover it again. Um, but I do think that from what we've seen here, it's been faithful where it needs to be faithful, and it's expanded where it needed to expand. So I'm very excited for the full release to come out.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter. There was like a very, I feel like unnecessarily like backlash on something about like the boxes and like the looting system. Like boxes, people were getting mad that the boxes are all spray painted, like letting you know that they're like breakable.
I
And, like,
mean,
interactable.
that people can complain. The boxes in the original game literally flashed for you, like
Right, like
had a slight sheen to them flashing. I would rather have a yellow spray paint across a box to let me know than like an
yeah,
obviously video game mechanic.
about a nitpick and anything, any little detail about
Listen, if
games
your
nowadays.
demo, that's the biggest complaint about your demo, you must have
Right.
done something real good.
Yeah,
Real good.
that's the way to
Speaking
look at it.
of things that they did good with this demo, they have a lot of secrets, at least a couple big ones that
Like
people
that.
didn't figure out
Oh,
until like
well,
this
right?
week, like a full week after the demo had came out. Um, so one of them being that you can unlock the TMP
Yeah.
in the demo by dropping all of your like gear out of your case before you go into the village segment, and that unlocks a well which you then jump down into and you can get the TMP. It's really neat. It's only done if you go into that segment with an empty inventory. Um and that was something that wasn't available that early in the main game. And I don't think that's going to be something that comes through to the final version of the game. I think that was a demo specific Easter egg. Second thing that they brought out, which hit me real good in the old nostalgia since I'm going to be turning 30. I think I can say back in my day we had cheat codes in all of our games, and they brought back cheat codes
Oh,
for
that's cool.
this to have a an increased difficulty for the demo, where the enemies are more aggressive. They hit a lot harder. The chainsaw mini boss that they have in the demo is a different variant of that mini boss, a more aggressive, more destructive version. It's really neat.
Wait a minute. It's a cheat code that makes the game harder.
Yeah,
What the
it's a
fuck?
so there's two ways. There's two ways to access it. People only found out about it because one of the ways to access it is that whenever you start up the demo, there is a small percent chance where you could randomly be put into this mode or given the option to play this mode. Because it'll pop up with like Mad Chainsaw mode. Do you want to proceed? But then if came out that there's a cheat code that you can put in at the start menu that will give you the Mad Chainsaw mode every single
Dope.
time.
Dope.
It's really neat. I'm sure there's probably one or two other Easter eggs that they've hidden in this that people haven't figured out. Capcom's really good about that kind of stuff. They know their player base. They know how to get people excited, and that kind of stuff, like putting that much effort into a demo, because neither of these things are going to be available in the final version of the game, is really exceptional.
Wait. So the cheat code system's not in the final version?
No, it's going to be a I would assume that it would be like there's going to be difficulties that you can unlock after
Oh.
you play the game just like there are other ones, but they probably will have other cheat codes. It's got me thinking that they might incorporate other cheat codes into the final version of the game, but the Mad Chainsaw mode was confirmed to be demo specific.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Some
Like I said, Capcom's great with their demos. I was fully expecting them to do a prequel story chapter with Ashley as the demo, because they've in the past done it so that the demos don't actually take place in the central game. Like they're like handmade individual sections just to get people excited. They did that with Resident Evil Village. The very first demo that came out with that was an independent demo, completely separate from what you were going to play in the game.
do we have a release date for this?
Next week, the 24th.
Wow, that is soon. Cool. I'm
Reminds
excited for
me.
this.
It reminds me very heavily like what he's doing right now of The Last of Us 2. For some reason, I don't know why. It just
You can stealth. Like if I still had my knife on me, I could have went up and stabbed that grandma. Easy
getting-
peasy, lemon
I was
squeezy.
getting like more like Evil Within kind of vibes from.
It has a good Evil Within feel,
Yeah.
which is no coincidence because the original Resident Evil 4 developer
Yeah.
was he
Yeah,
went
he
to
designed
Xbox
it.
with that team.
Yeah.
So
Um,
they added a few other systems too that I find interesting. Your knife now has a durability to it because the
Ooh.
knife in Resident Evil 4 was a weapon of mass destruction. And I think they recognized that. They gave it more strengths to counteract the fact that it can break, but you will be picking up knives and have to actively like keep knives in your inventory space with this game.
I
I
just
mean,
hope it
when
doesn't
when
get
you
annoying
catching
when you
hatchets
run in.
with your knife, bro, you're gonna break that shit quick, bro.
Yeah,
Come on,
they
man.
added a parry system, so anybody that comes up, if you pull your knife at the time that the attack hits you, you will actively parry them and like dismember them in a way, which I think is cool. You can do that also with like projectiles that come at you. And in this demo, you can actually block one of the chainsaw dude's attacks at you. You'll just hold the knife, he'll chainsaw into it. It'll snap your knife, but it'll keep you from dying one time. So
Are those the boxes that are spray painted that everybody's unhappy
yeah,
about?
those are the boxes
Yeah.
that everybody's complaining
I
about.
can see why. Yeah.
Fuck those boxes.
Fuck those boxes, man.
So I got a
It's
couple
like a
questions.
banana jizzed on them.
Yeah.
Whoa. I got a couple questions and a hot take. So
hot take isn't surprising.
Right?
So question is one, does this have a problem, or like as I'm watching this, right, it reminds me, obviously again it's a remake, so you know the way that they brought levels, you know, in and designs and stuff like that, like RE4 was very much about kind of like this closed in kind of space. That dude's eyes are way too far apart. Uh, but does that feel in today's world where horror games and things like that, and we're in an open world kind of setting, and things are more
Oh, this isn't
open
going to be
worlds?
open world at all.
No,
Yeah.
I know that. What I'm saying is, like, does the linear kind of pathing of this, even though it is very, paying homage to the original, do you think that that is going to kind of be a deterrent for someone that's, let's just say, someone that's never played RE4, right? For because there's going to be a large swath of people that have never touched RE4 that are going to come and play this.
I've never played RE in general, so
Yeah. I don't know. From what I've seen, I think this would be a good way to play. Whether this is going to be the definitive way to play this game, I don't know. It depends on how many changes they make to it. Like with the Dead Space remake, I would say that is now the definitive way to play that game 100%, just because it is so accurate to the source. They didn't change a lot of things, but the things that they
Right.
changed are extremely meaningful. Um,
Right.
this one's making a lot more changes overall. This village segment here is pretty well a one-for-one representation. I think they're going to keep a lot of their key encounters as one-to-one representations. How they expand out the mid parts of the game is going to be kind of up in the air. I do think that there is a place, and uh Resident Evil and Capcom in general have never really went for more of that open worldy type feel. Like Village was still extremely
That's
linear,
what I was
and
gonna
yes, there
ask. Was Village or what was the house one? Was that
seven
seven? Or
seven
either
was
of those?
seven
Those
was
are
even more
pretty
linear
linear.
than what
Yeah.
Village was.
Hippie
I feel like
They,
Hillbilly.
that's the kind of retraction you're gonna get from the, like, you're gonna get the players that probably started with like 7 and up, and you might see those
and I
players.
think those are the players that they're trying to attract,
Yeah.
because this is more of that style from uh, what I've gathered. It plays it almost exactly like the third person mode of Resident Evil Village, if you've went back and played that since they introduced it,
Mhm.
which is a very fun way to play the game.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't
So
think the linearity is going to hurt it.
the hot take, right, is that, and this is of all our Resident Evil games, and it's not that I don't think this is gonna be bad, like, I by any means, way, shape, or form. But I am one of the people that I I really love the old school shitty cameras and nostalgia of these types of games, and I think, like, and I know there's probably a very small subsect of people that feel this, and maybe it's a camp of one with me, but I feel like the progression into a more, this higher fidelity, and all of the new, accessibility that these consoles bring, and developments, and all of these engines, and that it almost takes away from the game experience that was what we grew up with playing. Like,
You know what? Actually, can I comment on this real fast? Because
no.
this what you're saying right now is actually why I think this remake out of any of the Resident Evil remakes is going to succeed, and it's because for me, like Resident Evil 1 and 2 remakes, I could not get into them because I also, I was a big enjoyer on like the tense camera angles that that game would put you in, not knowing what's around the corner inside of a door, opening it up into darkness. I loved that, and that's why like I couldn't get down with like the Resident Evil 2 remake. But this, Resident Evil 4 Village, you are already in this, over the shoulder like view, going through the village and everything in this like tight enclosed areas, and I feel like it's kind of, they're doing it pretty well of keeping it accurate to what Resident Evil 4 did before,
No,
from what I've seen.
and yeah, I'm not saying that art this remake. Let's not go into the near automata gameplay. But I don't think that this is it's going to fail, or this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that as we progress in, like, RE4 to most people, to a lot of people, is the, like, definitive Resident Evil best in class. Like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
most Resident
100%.
Evil fans.
Some will say 2.
I
Right.
might say too,
So
but
so
I'm
so
being for 4.
for me, it is Code Veronica. Like, Resident Evil Code Veronica was like, that was my favorite art Resident Evil game to date. I don't want them to like remaster it. I don't want them, which I don't think it will, because I don't think it was a big enough title for them to ever do. But like, um, I like that title because of the camera angles, all of that stuff was just so nostalgic to me in that way. Like, I almost not here, right? But if it, like, I think
It's
in
a
Resident,
similar situation to what people had with the Resident Evil or the Final Fantasy VII remake. I get what you're saying, and
right?
you're gonna lose some of that camp that prefers the nostalgic view. I think there's enough similarities with the original system. I think the upgrades are going to be accepted a bit more with this, just because it's not as stark of a contrast compared to the original.
Right.
Um,
That's
And
what
and
I'm
I,
saying.
and again,
and I think they can keep that horror while giving you a little bit more controllability of the character. Because I understand what you're saying. Sometimes those shitty controls were the reason that those games were so terrifying.
oh yeah, no, I mean,
And
what I,
I go ahead.
I would say what I would love for them to do, not here, right? Because again, this game, like Scruffy said, like you said, like this was the game that switched everything, right? Like we went to an over the shoulder camera, we went to it became a different game at Resident Evil 4. But what I would have loved for Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3 is to give you the ability, which I don't know. Did they do this? I could have sworn one of them did this, but gave you the ability like Diablo 2 Resurrected does, where you can switch back to the old shitty version and see like,
Nah, none of
No,
them did it.
there was like I can't remember. I think it was
wasn't there a demake
no,
of it or something?
no. I think Resident Evil Zero got like a good remaster, but it was still kind of in the old graphics, but it was more like um, HD almost. But I don't think they ever got like a capability of switching between those.
Oh, well, that like I just again that was just a hot
Um,
take. I don't think that this is gonna fail. I think from everything I've seen. I've eaten crow once about Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil. I will not do it again. I think that they've proven themselves to do a good job with these things, and this is obviously going to succeed
I
wildly.
think
This is
if any
like
of
you
this
said. This
the
is
one that
the
will
this
succeed.
is the love child of the
Yeah.
Resident Evil community, so they need this one to be as polished as possible, and I think they've done that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to. This is a very minuscule question, but Resident Evil 4. My favorite thing, honestly, was the laser sight. Does this game? Can you use the laser? Or is it all crosshairs? Like, can you use a laser
I'm
sight?
assuming it's
Or
going to
is
be
it-
all crosshairs. There was no
Yeah.
laser sight in.
I was hoping, that would be something I'd like to see you be able to switch back and forth with. If you wanted to use your laser sight or if you want to use crosshairs, because I liked the laser sight in 4. That
Yeah,
was fun.
we'll have to see in the final release.
Yeah.
I am eagerly waiting to watch you play the crocodile section.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
Yeah.
So I hope they keep to the shitty, crappy version that was of that fucking mode. So, but anyway, yeah. So there you go. That is what we've been playing. I don't think there's anything else, right? Like, I think that was it. Correct.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, moving on to the news section, which we talked about a little bit here and there, but if you're unfamiliar with this, Microsoft is trying to buy Activision. I know it's probably a shocker to a lot of people. It's small acquisition, not too much on the line. It's only $69 billion. But there has been quite a bit of news that has happened where every single time that I think that like, okay, cool, we're not going to have any kind of issues or anything like that. Nope. Sony delivers something of wildness. And the newest thing is that Sony is, well, I think this came out first, right? Is that Sony, no, it's not about the exclusivity of Starfield. They're saying that they are concerned that Microsoft is going to degrade the shit out of Call of Duty, right? And now they're saying that they can't protect against the loss of Call of Duty at all. And then on top of that, this happened, which is Microsoft signs another cloud gaming deal to convince regulators. Like, this is just not looking good for Sony. Like, I don't know.
They're just digging themselves deeper and deeper too with everything that they say and put out.
Like, I don't know where this becomes a thing where Sony just says enough's enough.
I think they're getting to that point. I think Sony's realizing this late into the game, mind you, but I think they are realizing that the fight's lost. They need to start wrapping up and start doing damage control.
Like, I mean, because
Far too late into the game, but
I don't think so. I don't think they're realizing it at all. I think they're going to continue kicking their feet and throwing tantrums until the very end.
The very bitter end. Yeah, I kind of think so too.
Well, this article right here by Gamer Rant or Game Rant, you know, real quick side note, do you know for the longest time I thought this was Gamer Ant?
Really?
you dingus.
This was before they changed, like they didn't change. This was like when they had first come out and they didn't have like
They had
the
a
separation.
logo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their logo was just this, and I was like, oh no, yeah, I listen, I go to like Gamer Ant, and everyone's like, what the fuck is Gamer Ant?
And Sin's over there like, yeah, man, like Ant-Man, bro. Like gamer, it's Gamer Ant.
I was like, no,
It's Ant-Man, Gamer Ant.
they're like a small site, right? They're for the little man, the little
it's
guy.
a small subsect of the furry community, right? The gamer
Yeah,
ants.
man,
Yeah,
Gamer
yeah.
Ant.
You know, you like one goddamn game that's got furries in it, and then you're fucked forever. The game's not even about furries. Jesus Christ. Neon White's a good game. Fuck you guys. I don't care what you say.
Very dating
Anyway,
sim.
this is all that's going to happen, right? Is that Microsoft is just going to continue to add like cloud gaming services. Like Sony, by stamping their feet and holding their breath, is literally making Microsoft look better. At this point, I think Microsoft's like, fuck it, whatever, man. Just keep going, I guess. Like you're just making us look better and better every single time.
Yeah.
And the longer that this stuff is out there, like these things are going to continue to happen. Where like, again, this is from Eurogamer. Is, you know, PlayStation can't protect against the loss of Call of Duty. Like it's saying that, you know, they're continuing to try to put out there that they're going to, it's going to cost them the game because Microsoft is just going to pull it eventually. I don't know. I mean, like I feel like every single week we're just kind of like, there's no more, right? There can't be any more that's going to happen, and then they just.
I feel like every single week we essentially cover the same bullshit too. It's like Sony continuously brings up the exact same shit. Because last week we were talking about the fact that Sony was like, "Well, we can't win against you because if you take away Call of Duty, we can't make games as good as Call of Duty." And I'm like, what? Like.
Guys, I'm worried we're getting too self-reliant on all the news ingest on.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Once this is
pre-patch.
gone, are we
it's-
going down with them?
Yeah, instead of pre-patch podcast, it's becoming
Yeah.
pre-Sony fails podcast.
What happens to us though?
It's like this is the comment right here which I want to highlight on, right? Like this right here I think is and I think we talked about this last week, but how, like as a developer, like a first party developer, like that's underneath the Sony umbrella, at a certain point, when do you start to look at Sony and go, hey dad, can you just be proud of me? Like, you know, but them saying this, like going into more detail today, Sony stated on its own development costs were small in comparison to Call of Duty. Even God of War Ragnarok, which Sony describes as its biggest ever first party title, could not compare. Like you at a certain point are making your, I have to believe your first party developers kind of feel like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know, I don't know. It's just
It's almost like a devaluing of their biggest sale for their consoles, right? Because like Sony has always been, that's where you go to get first party titles, right? But with these recent statements, it's almost like Sony is not. I wouldn't say they're not willing to, but they're it's almost like they feel that they can't stay in the game with their first party titles, which is what they're best at in comparison to Microsoft.
100%. They just need to, well, they're using Call of Duty as a money factory for those first party titles.
Which I don't think that should be the case. Like honestly, if you're going to stand on a, you know, if you're going to stand up to Sony or to Xbox, to Microsoft, if you're going to try and do that, you need to take a stance of, we're confident in our ability to corner the market in what we're best at, right? And instead of relying on one franchise to essentially prop your entire company, in some cases, like your entire fucking, at least your entire console up, you need to be able to be willing to state, so if we lose Call of Duty, we can still prop ourselves up because we are your mainstay for first party content.
Yeah, but that doesn't make regulators want to cancel the deal,
Of
which
course,
is
yeah,
the
of course
entire
not. Which is
yeah.
entire as we covered last week. Sony's not doing this because they want Call of Duty. They're doing this because they don't want
Yeah,
they don't
I
want
mean, that was
Microsoft to have it.
directly what he
That was
said.
direct according to what's it called,
Activision
an
CEO.
exec, yeah, an Activision's exec. That was what their main CEO said. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like I almost think that they just need to turtle up and just shut the fuck up. Like honestly, like and you guys can say that I'm against Sony all you want to, but like you can't sit here and look at all these things that we've covered over the past few weeks and be like, yeah, Sony's doing a good job with this. They're doing God's work. You know, like it's definitely not a self-serving. Well, I mean, it is a self-serving thing, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
So
No, I get what you're saying. And I think a lot of it is fluff. I genuinely think that they are painting themselves worse off than they actually are
Oh,
going to
100%.
be to try to get this deal shut down. I don't think Sony is going to go anywhere, even if Xbox does not allow Call of Duty to go onto. I don't think that their first party titles are
Which
reliant on third
which
party funding.
Well, they're
well,
which
that's
being
I'll reiterate again. Microsoft has come out and said multiple times they have no intention of pulling it from Sony. They came out the other day and in fact and said straight up it would make no financial no sense financially for us to pull it off of the Xbox or the Sony platform.
but it came out that Sony was being investigated with their exclusive titles,
Yeah,
correct? By
yeah.
was it the FTC that's investigating
It
them?
was
Yeah,
it
the
was
UK.
The
UK rights
well, I'm
regulations.
sure
Yeah,
we'll see all of this come to light here soon. Like,
I don't
what
think
is?
that we'll ever see it.
I
They'll
mean,
investigate it, but
it
we'll
might not
never
come to
see
light, but I mean, it's going to escalate to where like this has got to. I mean, this has got to go one way or the other. Like, and in the end, it's probably going to end with Sony obviously not getting their way.
so I want to put this out here, right? When we're talking about copies. So I was trying to look up how many copies of Modern Warfare 2 were sold on PlayStation 5 to give an accurate number, right? The closest number I could find quickly was on World War 2. So this was two games back. Oh no, I'm sorry. This was in 2017. So it's kind of a couple years ago. But I can only imagine that this was extrapolated year over year over year as each game has become the best-selling Call of Duty of all time. But if we just take a snapshot, right, of Call of Duty World War II, 13.4 million units were sold on PlayStation 4, right? 4.67 million of them were purchased in in North America. So if we take and I'm gonna use Ragnarok, right? Which again, I could go back and pull, okay, say like the original game, God of War, but Ragnarok sold 13 million copies. So like their argument that Call of Duty,
$70.
$70, yeah.
right? That Call of Duty is the outperformer, and then without Call of Duty, like this stuff isn't viable.
Well,
Like,
you have to factor in also that Sony also was fully fronting the budget of Ragnarok, so the net gain from that is not going to be equal because they did have the development cost, whereas with Call of Duty they just have to pay the licensing fee,
right, but
whatever that would be. It would be. I would assume the licensing fee.
I would assume the
would be
licensing fee
less
would be
than
close
development.
to the development fee, honestly.
You think so?
For Call of Duty, I would think. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not like
I
insanely
don't
close.
know.
Maybe like a quarter. But I'm sure that would be a pretty decent, hefty chunk of.
Plus
change that
whatever
they would have to
royalties
put forward.
Activision is taking from each
plus,
sale.
plus on top of that, we already know that Sony pays for exclusives. So you're not only are you paying for the licensing fee, you're paying for exclusives for Call of Duty as well. So,
Right.
Right.
and I'm sure that those aren't cheap either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I think, and now like with Sony pulling this kind of stuff where they're saying, hey, they're not happy about the Starfield Xbox exclusivity. Why now, Sony? Like, why are you bringing not? I mean, I know why,
They're-
but like,
I was about to say they're doing it because they're trying to force the hand of the FTC and the EU rights regulations. They're saying they're basically playing the victim, going, "Oh, they're pulling exclusive. See, this game right here is exclusive, so they're just gonna make Call of Duty exclusive. I guarantee it." You know, they're
I
trying
mean,
to
this
play
is
the
the
victim.
first instance of a third-party studio going to one of these purchases and then going exclusive.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
that
and again,
is factual.
I'll bring it up. We talked about it at one point. I think we first started talking about Starfield when they released that first gameplay. One thing that people have to remember: if you were surprised that Bethesda was going to go exclusive with most of their games after the Microsoft purchase, I feel bad for you because Microsoft and Bethesda have been in bed for a very long time before they went global, essentially, before Bethesda went to multiple different uh
It's still an anti-consumer
And
practice.
no,
though. Like,
100%.
take
I'm
Sony
not
out of
saying
the
it's not. I'm not saying it's not. But if you thought that was not going to happen, you're crazy.
Also, this is not the first case of that. So I know but Ghostwire Tokyo was a Sony exclusive when we're talking about from a like console to console. Like Ghostwire Tokyo could not be played on Xbox.
What are you talking about? I'm confused. Where
You're saying that this was
even-
this was the first instance of a third party studio going exclusive, and
I think
Well, no,
I think
a
he's
third-party
talking about a
studio
third
being
party
bought
studio.
up,
Yeah, I
and
think he's
then
talking about a third party studio that traditionally was a was providing for all consoles and then got purchased and went
yeah.
exclusive. I think that's what he's talking about.
right. But even still, like that's what I'm saying.
Ghostwire Tokyo development was not originally like that. I think that's their first game, is it not?
Who? That's Bethesda.
Ghostwire Tokyo was not Bethesda, was it? It was published by Bethesda, but the development was not Bethesda.
I thought it was Bethesda.
And then they got dragged out of Bethesda. No, let me check just to make sure.
Developer is Tango.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tango GameWorks.
All right. Well, then I redact that statement.
They were under Bethesda and then got basically taken out from Bethesda and went on their own at one point. So.
Also, is it? I thought they said that Starfield was going to be exclusive to Xbox, but only for a certain amount of time. That it was not going to be a sole Xbox only thing. I
don't think they ever went into detail about it. They just said that it was going to be exclusive, and they weren't sure what it was going to be exclusive, if it was going to be timed or not.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. This is just not we said it before. This is just not a good look. They need to quit. Like they need to stop. And also too, like.
I think them bringing this up is actually the strongest case that they've made like this entire time is the Bethesda Starfield case.
I also think that it's a very petty thing for them to bring up, considering what they've personally done with exclusivity. You can bring up the fact that it's a company that got purchased out and everything like that, and that's all fine and dandy. But considering the fact that for decades Sony's had console exclusives, exclusive maps, exclusive content inside of games.
The exclusive content's 100% bullshit.
They really don't have a foot to stand on at this point, in my opinion.
This, like I said before, that this is the first instance
and I understand that.
Yeah. Even with all the Sony purchases, they were only making Sony games anyway.
Yeah. But what I am saying though is I don't think they have a foot to stand on when it comes to exclusivity, and I don't think you can argue that.
Well, also too,
I think you can argue that it's anti-consumer. I think that's the only argument they have in this case, is that Microsoft has done an anti-consumer practice by making a third-party company.
They've done
that was multi-console, a single
in the past though. They've had many anti-consumer practices in the past though, with all their exclusivity too.
Yeah, but they've never yanked a developer from a player base.
But they've yanked maps, they've yanked fucking
they've yanked content from player bases. Yeah.
In my opinion, I believe that yanking content from player bases is a lot worse than yanking just an entire game.
I can
then you're blocking off an entire subsection. You're alienating a player base, not just like the actual player base of the actual game, rather than just one entire section of
fair.
What's it called?
Yeah, that's fair.
The only other thing I'll throw in here about all this is like I'm interested to see then, because yes, this could be this could be the figurative slap to the face of Microsoft in an anti consumer kind of stance. But the moment that Sony then turns around and makes a Bungie game exclusive to only Sony, which I have more faith in that Sony will do that than what I have that Microsoft will, continue to pull games. The moment that they do that, then at that point you lose all credibility, because you now have taken a third-party studio that made games for everybody and said, we're locking them behind our platform, and you cannot, like Destiny 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever the fuck it's going to be, or whatever, we know Bungie's working on another live service game. Like if they lock that behind exclusivity of Sony, this all becomes, you know, how a double-edged sword. Like how are you gonna chastise me in one face, but then at the same time do it again? And if you're gonna say like, well, I'm only doing it because you're doing it, that doesn't hold water, right? Like
No, you
still
can't go the
looks
eye for an eye route.
right.
But that's also, we're talking semantics of the future. That
Right,
doesn't.
of course. That's
So
what
I mean, so
Yeah.
Sony is talking semantics of the future with COD. Like,
I mean,
they
that's
have
fair.
no actual proof that they're going to pull it. They're just doomsaying essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if this deal goes through, which it most likely will, Sony's gonna stand on the footing. Well, we can do this now and retaliatory,
100%.
basically.
Yeah. No, 100%.
They're gonna justify their purchasing or their exclusivity moving forward even more.
Well, the other
Which,
side too.
again, only people that lose are us, the consumer.
Yeah. The other side too that they're going to say is like, we're not going anti-consumer. You can get this on every other platform. Like you can get this on Nintendo. You can get this on a cloud service. You can get this on Nvidia. You're right. You can't get it on your console. Sorry, I don't know you.
Talk to Sony.
you
Yeah,
know,
like if just because you can't, like the only reason why you can't get it on Sony is because Sony.
Because Sony, they had their chance.
So
Yeah,
you know,
with the Call of Duty, yeah, 100%. With the
So-
Bethesda stuff, that still doesn't rub me the
I'm-
right way, but it
I'm
was
cu- I'm
not
curious.
expected.
Yeah,
It was not unexpected, I mean.
expected it. I was about to say I 100% expected it. The one thing that's going to be shocking is if they pull Elder Scrolls 6. That's going to
They
be
100% are. I don't.
I don't know if they will, man. Like I think that's going to be a huge.
That
hit
would
for
be a
them.
huge show of good faith if they didn't. Like that would be legitimately the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
If they were to come out and do that.
here's the other side of it.
Would think they wouldn't be just because of sales numbers. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
We're also talking about Microsoft pulling it. We have not once mentioned the fact that for these games to end up on those platforms, the platforms themselves have to agree and say, yeah, we're cool. We want to buy rights to have this on our game. Like it's not just, it's not that on our system. It is a two-way street, right? So there is a side of the world that says like, will Sony go and say fuck you to Microsoft and go, no,
I mean,
fuck
if they
you.
do, that'll be public knowledge, and then Sony can have the angry mobs outside of their HQ, right beside Square Enix.
I was about to say right beside Square Enix, 15 minutes away from Square Enix. By the way,
I mean, it is a world that is a possibility, right? Where
Yeah,
they could,
if Sony wants to go pure villain, then that would at least all be made public. It's not like they can paint Xbox as the villains in that arc when they themselves are not willing to play ball.
It's gonna be interesting to see. I think we've talked enough about it though. Like honestly, I'm to the point where like next week I think it's time to get rid of the Sony.
no, I
yeah,
love
like,
this. I love this section.
We've
so
literally
near to
covered
my
this
heart.
like every podcast.
You know when Enigma is getting tired of shitting on Sony, that we beat it into the ground a bit too much.
We're just hitting a dead horse at this point, man. It's just like don't. It's already dead, bro. Just leave it alone.
Well, let's bring in another company that is playing the villain card here, which is Nexon. And they had the Dark and Darker Studios, which I am blanking on the name. Who is the developer for Dark and Darker? Iron Mace. They had Iron Mace Studios essentially raided by police following stolen code allegations. If you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, essentially the Dark and Darker, which is Iron Mace Studios, is created by Nexon developers. They were working on a game called P3, which was a quote unquote, I mean, if you look at it, it does look, it looks like Dark and Darker. But they are saying that it was stolen code, and they were raided by the police.
Which, by the way, if you want to hear more about it, we covered it on a couple podcasts back.
Yep.
Anchor.fm/prepatch podcast. Just saying.
And they, basically Iron Mace is denying the allegations. Then this raid kind of happened. And Nexon at first like denied it, and then they were like, well, yeah, actually it is,
Did they
was
actually confirm it?
yeah, Nexon came
Wow.
out like it's you can't keep that shit
That's
Yeah.
hidden.
crazy, man. I
So
know that they were saying that like the code was like the exact code, like copy pasta
Yeah.
code, like 100%. Even had Nexon in it. So
I'm still a little shocked they actually came out and said it, but they couldn't they couldn't
They
not.
couldn't hide it.
Yeah, they
yeah,
couldn't
if
hide
if it's
it.
got a shit on it and they brought out the allegations and the proof, then yeah, they can't
Yeah.
really skirt around it.
wait,
No.
wait, are you saying did Iron Mace come out and say that they actually used their code? Is that what you're asking
Yeah,
about?
that's what I'm asking.
No,
Did they actually
no,
come out? Okay.
no. Nexon was hiding the fact that they were the ones that called this raid. Like they were saying they
okay.
were not funding
Oh,
this, and
see.
that's not the case. No, Iron Mace is still holding true that
Okay.
that it's their code. That the idea they have because Nexon first said that they were like, oh, you're taking this idea, and Iron Mace is like, you can't fucking trademark a concept. Like, I don't, what do you can't trademark a genre of a game. That's that doesn't work. And Nexon basically then moved to saying, oh, well, you're using the same code. They had this raid happen, and Iron Mace is like, no, we took the concept of the game, but this is our code.
Yeah.
So
Because I remember us talking about it a couple episodes back, and I thought I was pretty sure that Nexon said that there was like code inside of there that had like Nexon coding in it.
I mean, the downfall of this is because this is very well possible that they did build their own, engine and all this other kind of stuff or whatever, and they're making it on their own. But if someone used if there is even one line of any code that is from Nexon that they were using it as a reference point to build off of and then put in their own, like, great movie for this. If you want to understand more about it, is Free Guy. I know it sounds crazy. Go watch that movie, but literally it's in that. If there is even one line of code that's in there, then Iron Mace is fucked.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, even if it's just like, oh no, it was a placeholder so we could do our own, you're fucked. Like there is no hope around it. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen here.
They're rewriting all of their code as we speak.
Right. So another version of someone getting stuff stolen, it's just a week of stealing shit, was who is the developer for so is it Bleak Faiths?
Weak Faith Studios, yeah.
Yeah, they were being accused of stealing from Software's code for their weapon animations.
Yeah.
This was let's you're good. I'm going to pull this up so we can see that they can see the thing. So this is the alleged well, it's not alleged. I think they did. They straight up said
these guys 100% confirmed that after looking into it, the code was 100% stolen, not by them, but and Enigma is going to get a chuckle out of this one. This one was stolen by Epic, basically, or not directly Epic, but it was made available for purchase from the Epic Assets Marketplace
Game Store.
Wow.
Wow.
But it was ripped by a modder, right?
It was ripped by a modder and then sold on the Epic Animations Game Store. And Epic did not do the checks and balances proper enough to make it known that this was somebody's independent work.
That's fucking hilarious.
And they actually had Epic came forward with a statement on this. Pursuant to the marketplace distribution agreement, each marketplace seller represents and warrants to Epic that they have the appropriate rights to upload their content. As with any store that hosts third-party content, however, Epic is not in a position to independently verify such rights, and Epic makes no such guarantees to its purchasers.
Epic's going to come out and be like, yeah, we didn't know that, so if you want to go after somebody, go after the dude that posted it. Like, fuck you. We're just chilling here, man.
Literally the like fucking written version of somebody walking into a bank being robbed and you're holding all the cash and they're going, no, it wasn't me, man. It was not me.
Yeah. The funny thing is, so the Bleak Faith developers were made aware of this. They went back to Epic to get this like figured out. And while they were waiting for a response from Epic, they went and just looked at the marketplace, and it has been taken down. So Epic at some point realized that
have
this
to.
was stolen code
Yeah.
and took it off of the marketplace, or the modder took it down. But I would wager to guess
Doubt
that
the
Epic
modder
figured it
didn't
out.
take it
And
No,
down.
then
100%. Epic
and then
started
did
covering their
not
tracks.
tell people who
Yeah.
purchased it that this was stolen code.
Did they
Epic is
offer a
really good
refund?
about ninja patching shit like that.
Did they offer a refund to anybody that purchased this
Of
shit?
course not.
I doubt
They,
it.
th-
No.
no, it's full customer consumer discretion to
Yeah.
vet the
Oh my
source.
God.
Basically, is what they're saying.
Yo,
I mean-
look, I know that you purchased the food that was dropped on the floor and was shit on and pissed on and stepped on, but it's your fault for not smelling the steak before you put it in your mouth and got food poisoning.
Yeah,
Not my
Epic's
fault.
gonna have the precautions to cover their own ass.
Oh my God, dude. I can't even believe they didn't offer a refund.
As far as I know, they have not offered a refund. I've looked through a few articles. None of them
I
said that they got a
highly doubt that
refund.
They will, because
No.
with that statement, essentially, that's what Epic is saying. There is, we're not to be held responsible if somebody posts something onto our site. Essentially, they're going essentially that's legalese terms for, well, get fucked, nerd. Thanks for the money.
You should have did your
Yeah.
homework.
Now, the good end of the story is after figuring out all of this, and from the statement from Epic,
there's
they've
more.
just decided to pull those
Yeah,
those
there's
assets
a
from the
few-
game.
There's a few animations that are like.
This
and
is from
like-
Dark Souls
like-
3.
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
they spaghetti coded some new animations, and they're going to be working on polishing those
That's good.
animations
At least they're willing to fix it, because most companies would just be like, I mean, I paid for it, so therefore it's mine, bro. I don't know what the fuck
So-
to tell you.
Is Bleak Faith out? Is this a game that's out
It is.
now?
It is
out. Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
Cool.
that
So,
was out.
hey, Chad, if you guys want to play like a shittier version of Elden Ring, go buy Bleak Faith. I guess. What is it? Is it called Bleak Faith?
Bleak
Is that the
Faith.
name? Is that the name of the game?
Forsaken,
Yeah.
Bleak Faith, Forsaken.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bleak Faith, Forsaken.
And
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. By the way,
26
Bleak
bucks.
Faith, like you guys are doing, I'm just doing a jab. It's not a shittier version of Elden Ring. You guys could not, have known this, like, or I don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You didn't know this. Maybe you did. I don't know. But in any way, shape, or form,
They're at
like,
least doing the right thing
yeah,
by
absolutely
trying to fix it.
And this is the funny thing about the Epic, like the Unreal store, right? Because we've had a lot of fucking games that have come out in the past where they've had like animations or textures or player models in general that people have been like, hey, like you stole this fucking shit for me, right? In the past. That's why you don't buy stock fucking shit. Like
Because you can't verify the source.
you can't
and-
verify the source. Yeah.
You mean kind of like how my image is everywhere?
Yes.
Right. That's
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so
I
yeah.
can't I can't say any worse. The little dude I'm using. I'm sure there's several of them out there, but yeah, I only paid $5 for it. So
And you
okay
know what?
with it.
I also have been finding a lot of doppelgangers of myself too. So there's
Bro,
many of
there are so
Real life.
dude,
You,
if
you've been hanging out outside of people's door
I
cameras.
swear to God, if you like Scruffy, you need to not walk around without like a hood on or like you are going to get picked up by the cops for a murder that you never committed, and you're gonna go to
Yeah.
jail. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna
I'm
it's gonna
literally
happen.
dressed
Think I care about that shit?
going, bro. Like it's crazy. There is a new Asian variant of me that came out the other day. It's-
You're like COVID. You've got another fucking variants.
Scruffy's like that fucking movie that he idolizes. Everything.
Oh
all at
my
once,
God. Can-
Everywhere, whatever.
yes, I am.
I'm trying to look at the news. I think we have time. That movie is fucking stupid, and
Dude.
I'm happy for the dude to win an Oscar. Like he earned his rights to win an
Three of them,
Oscar,
bro.
but that
Steve McQueen,
fucking
Steph
movie
Curry,
is dumb.
and Jamie Lee Curtis. Everybody deserved it, and it won Best Picture. Totally deserved
Dumb.
everything. Everywhere.
Dumb.
The one thing that I'm
Movie
impressed about
of
is
the
the
decade.
special effects. The special effects or whatever, the editors that were completely self-taught by YouTube
I didn't
tutorials.
know that, which is actually
Yeah.
that's pretty
But
dope.
that also just proves my point further that Hollywood is replaceable. And
Yeah,
we
I
should-
am in no way, shape, or form a fan of Hollywood, movies and cinema. It is.
but that
this-
game that movie
right,
is stupid
like,
as shit. I'm
this
sorry.
It
movie
is
is
so
as
dumb.
fuck.
It's so dumb. It literally is the epitome of everything that is wrong with storytelling in
You don't even
Hollywood.
get through a quarter of it. I don't even want to hear it. You didn't even experience what that movie
Dude,
has.
Chat
for.
GBT could have written a fucking better script than that
There you go.
that movie.
There you go, Cindy. He's telling you you're not smart enough to watch it. It's
Yeah,
it's an
well, that's that.
experience.
Did I not just say?
Is this the Rick and Morty excuse?
This is literally the.
I've never watched it, so I have no
I
dog in this fight.
Really,
But
specifically
watch
said yesterday that this movie is one of those movies that's like, you're not intelligent enough to understand what this movie is. And he literally denied. He told me yesterday. No. And in the same sentence now, he is saying, I'm stupid. I'm not smart enough to watch and understand the movie.
Who said that?
Oh,
You!
I said that.
Oh.
I just said that.
You what? You're putting words into my mouth. I've never said
Well, it's an alternate universe. I can do that.
No, it's
Yeah,
just,
and
he's,
even if you
he's-
did say that, you can just blame it on the scruffy variant.
He's a
He's
giant,
right.
he's a
It's-
giant dildo. That's why it's gotta be
Jesus
it.
Christ.
with the giant dildo, bro.
Oh my god, that movie's dumb. Anyway,
Good.
yeah. So
Sorry to derail.
yeah.
And-
Let's talk about Remnant 2, right? So this is
Hell yeah.
a game that we are, I think all four of us are actually pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
I think we're all
Oh, you
also
got the doggo trailer. Nice.
waiting on bated breath. Like that's the biggest thing is like, is this going to be, did they learn from their mistakes
Yeah.
of the first one?
I think that's my biggest worry is just like, and we've talked about it in the past between all of us inside the Discord chat and everything like that, and we talked about it in the podcast when we kind of gave our review of the original Remnant game, where I think we had like 90% of the game was amazing. Like don't get me wrong, the game Remnant 1 was a phenomenal game for
think
what
we
for
all agree
the
on that.
development.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even like anything to the game just lacked longevity
Yeah.
from some.
That was like I think between all four of us, maybe not all four. I don't remember if you had the same opinion, Bill, or not. I can't remember.
I
We'll have
think
to-
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Bill
Every
disagrees.
minute detail.
Bill disagrees. But between myself, Scruffy, and Sin, and I think I can speak for us in saying that I think that a little bit more randomness, a little bit more RNG in not only in the maps but also in like the abilities, the armor and the weapons would have made the replayability in the game feel a lot better. And I hope that that's what they do in Remnant 2. Like that's my biggest fear is that they're just going to take what they did in Remnant and it's just going to be Remnant with prettier graphics essentially and archetypes.
I just
So-
want, in a world where, you know, procedurally generated content, procedurally generated worlds, weapons, stat drops, stat things, like in a world of post Diablo 2, post Destiny 2, all of these types of, I want procedurally generated and I want RNG, right? In a world of post Returnal, I want RNG, I want procedurally generated. Like that needs to happen.
If you go to the gunslinger video, I think it's a little bit longer than the pet one, but
I'm on it now. That's it.
Can I also just say that the dog in this trailer it's
Bro.
literally a more badass version of dog meat.
bro,
Like,
it is, man.
dog
Like
meat's
like
badass brother, like sibling.
so do we want to go into detail about what the two things that we're going into right now, what we're watching?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
So if you guys have played Remnant before, I don't remember if they had archetypes, did they?
They didn't. They just had
No.
starter classes, but basically every starter class could turn into everything.
Whatever
It
they
was a
wanted to.
one size fit all character.
Yeah. So in this one, in Remnant 2, they're bringing out archetypes, which the two that we've shown today is the gunslinger, I believe is what they call it, and the handler. Was it the handler?
The
or-
handler, yeah.
Yeah. So those are two archetypes that you can bring, and each of those archetypes has different certain key abilities. Like the gunslinger has what you're seeing right now, which is quick draw, sidewinder, and bullet storm, which each of those is a different specific type. The gunslinger is for the people that didn't really like doing melee in Remnant, which was me. I personally didn't really play melee
I
in general.
loved Melee.
And yeah, and he Sin played melee. I don't remember. Did you play melee as well, Scruffy, or were you more
I
of
did a little bit of everything, honestly.
And what did you play, Bill? I think you played melee as well.
I had a heavy with a hammer, and then I had a sharpshooter.
Yeah. So I was the odd one. Apparently, I was the odd one out that played entirely with ranged. But that's what the game, the gunslinger is all
you
about.
too. Yeah, I mean, like
What's that?
That's what this game offered. You know, the capability of like Remnant is a shooter, Souls like in every aspect, and it offered melee as another path to take as well.
Yep.
I'd say.
But the biggest thing with the melee and remnant, or the gunplay in remnant at least, was that like after a certain point you would run out of ammo extremely quickly because the ammo drops and such were a little bit harder
Especially
to
in the
get.
harder modes.
And some, yeah, especially in the harder modes. The gunslinger is going to completely, from what I can tell, is going to completely. If you don't ever want to touch a melee weapon, go gunslinger, because there's a perk that you literally pick up 100% more ammo when you pick up ammo crates.
Wow,
So,
those
Yeah.
roads on that revolver are tragic.
yeah.
But
So-
this alone here shows me that they're at least looking a little bit more into longevity. Because if you have to go through and procedurally generate everything and go through these different segments to get like the different tiles that you're missing, the different bosses that you're missing, to get the different weapons that you're missing, and then you have to repeat that with another archetype, since they do have specific perks that you're not going to be able to replicate
Well,
elsewhere.
and
It'll
the
help
one
with build variety.
the one thing that I saw as well is you're going to be able to have two archetypes as well. I think they show it in this video right here, where you can have like the gunslinger and then another archetype as well. So you're going to be able to dual class, from
Mix
what
and
I can tell,
match. Nice.
which is cool. I think that has a lot of replayability for like the.
Is it full
the
access
back-end
to the
aspect.
second? Do
I
we know
think
if it's
so,
gonna be
yes.
full access? Okay, because I know
I'm pretty sure they
Borderlands-
show it. I'm pretty sure they show it on this video. Later on, where it's got the entire, because there's two sides. When he opens it, there's the gunslinger side, which is the blue side on the left, and then there's a green side on the right. That's I think he's
blank.
playing some kind of like. Later on, he'll be playing some kind of like tank spec or something like that. But it looks good, man. Like it really does look good. I think that they did a really good job with keeping to the original Remnant. And here's what I was talking about. At level 10, you get 100% ammo right there, plus 100% ammo. But I think they did a really good job with sticking to the original Remnant, but they've just made it to where it's like it's aged, right? Because like the first boss that they showed, the weird like four-legged like rat, is a boss from Remnant 1, and it's still the same arena from Remnant 1, but in Remnant 2 it looks like more overgrown, a little bit more like run down and everything like that. So I kind of like the way that they're going with that personally.
From what they've explained story-wise, from the little bits of stuff that they've posted, it seems like the concept is that when we kicked the root off of Earth, it went to the other realms.
Yeah, it's very
So-
possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Yep.
Like I said, I loved everything about the damn game. I just wanted it to be procedural. I wanted there to be a reason for me to continue to try to hunt down loot and to go to different places and just there wasn't enough. In my opinion, like as someone that loves loot grind games and those kind of things, I want the RNG of what did this gun drop, right? Not that everybody got this gun, or as long as you get this gun, everybody's getting the same gun, like whatever. I want there to be perks and bonuses to it.
Unfortunately, from what I've go ahead.
I was about to say, I think the biggest problem with Remnant 1 as well was like that was a key component to it, where it was like once you got it, that was it. But I think the biggest issue was that there was just not a huge amount, right? Like they only had like 5 or 6 different armor sets, and I want to say they had like 15 or 20 different weapons.
They had a lot more armor sets than that. I think you're underselling it a little bit.
I don't think they did. It might have been a little bit more, but it wasn't a lot.
That you could find and not like separate to like bosses and stuff too.
I know we'll have to correct it if I'm wrong, but I don't remember them having a ton. There definitely wasn't like enough to occupy your time to a certain extent. And the armor sets that there was, not all of them were very viable. Like they had a decent amount of, if they did have a decent amount of armor, you only used like 1 or 2 of them, and they were the only 2 that were viable. Like
There were
probably
18 total.
18. Okay, still that's not a lot.
And that's after
again,
DLCs. So
and again, not all of them were viable. Like most of them were not very great.
Find not like only a select few of armor sets that I found viable. But that was, I mean, to be fair though, there was multiple ways that you could play the game though, and you did state as well that you were one that was mainly going for the long range. I'm sure you found those ones more viable than say like melee armor sets and
Yeah, but
whatnot too.
even still, the problem is that once you, like I've said,
Once you get it, that's it.
once you get it,
Yeah.
you're done. Like there's no point to going, like the replayability there is just very low.
I'm with you on that aspect.
You know,
I do think we might be like, at least you guys might be disappointed because from everything I've seen, I have like when they zoom into the weapons and stuff, I don't see any like
Stats.
thing noting a stat differential.
Yeah.
Or but they also haven't showed off any of the like the modifications or the spells.
Yeah.
So that might be something that comes later. I don't think you're gonna get like a full Diablo style or Borderlands style, like, or I guess more akin to Destiny, where you get the specific weapon type and then it has rolls on top of it.
Yeah,
I
I wish-
doubt we're gonna get that. I think they'll add longevity in different aspects. Like I have a feeling that the roguelike mode is probably going to come default because it was extremely well received in Remnant 1.
yeah. I mean, I think they've got to do something for longevity, like to keep the game
I mean, at least the
going. It's got to
classes
have.
will offer, the archetypes will offer some longevity. You can go throughout the game playing it a little differently with like playing different archetypes and classes and combining them even too. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
now
We'll see. So we've got a Remnant 2, which is right there.
I think
So-
it looks a lot better as well than Remnant. Like the graphics.
The lighting is amazing.
Yeah, the lighting and the graphics seem a lot better. So I'll just that'll be my last thing that I want to say. But
No worries. I am going to sneeze. I apologize. Hold on one second.
3, 2, 1, achoo. Everybody
There'll be
sneeze with
three.
sin, achoo, so
There'll
that
be
he
three
doesn't
of
feel
them.
lonely.
The other thing that we've got announced this week, was actually announced today. And you know, one of the other things that we are very big in is
Biggin?
we're big in is survival games. And I don't know about you guys, Project Astrid. I'm positively, hopeful for this game. Like I think, it's got and what this is basically it's a survival game that's being developed alongside with Shroud and Sacriel. And I think, the last couple of minutes I would like to spend kind of talking about this is, the point of bringing creators into this space. Like I actually like this idea of saying, hey, we're going to take creators, we're going to bring them in. They're going to help because these are guys and people that are playing these games 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? Like they literally live, eat, and breathe. This is how they make their money. To bring them in and say, hey, help us develop. Like we want to, we want to
Yeah.
develop alongside you. I think that's a great idea. We don't know anything about this. All we know is that it is well, there we saw that, but it is a survival game being developed by Splash Damage and Sacriel and Shroud.
it's already giving me Brink vibes, like just from that little bit that we saw. I mean, these are the developers of Brink and I think a few other games too.
I like I like Brink.
The later Gears of War they developed and Dirty Bomb. So I
I enjoyed Dirty Bomb. Dirty Bomb was really fun.
I think Dirty Bomb was underrated for sure, but
Yeah.
no, I mean I'm eagerly waiting, but I'm definitely hesitant at the same note. I think that just stems from we've been burned
Oh,
time
fuck yeah.
and on survival games,
My
especially.
my only question is like I kind of get it, but then I kind of don't like. Are they trying to make this into like a competitive survival as
So,
well?
there
Why
was-
bring Shroud? Like I get Shroud does a lot of like shooters.
Well, I
Is he
mean-
known for like heavily for his survival games though?
Yeah, he's really known for like DayZ and stuff like that. Like he's done a lot
Gotcha.
with that space. Here's what I caught his stream 2 days ago, and it was really weird because he was talking about, what he's hoping for. Like he was playing DayZ, he was playing on a public server by, oh my god, it's another creator, and I forgot the name. He opened up this server, and all the creators were all these streamers were playing it. But he was talking about it while there, and he was like, what I really want is I want a survival game that is always on. It's large. It's always, you're, to get from one side of the map to the other side of the map, it's going to take, hours and things like that. And there's a real threat. And
Man.
like he was talking about all of these things and like when you died, like it was seriously detrimental to that. And so I'm wondering if he was not actually giving information out about this, and what that would be like. And you know, and I mean, and what he was explaining, you know,
He's pretty much explaining DayZ there.
That's what I was gonna say.
Or
That's
Rust.
essentially just Daisy. Yeah.
well, that's what they were saying was like, like people in chat were like, so you're wanting Rust, but like on a massive scale, and he's like, no, Rust is too cartoony and too like whatever else, and he goes,
The-
Daisy's too janky, and there's not, you know, or whatever else, and he said he wants it to be in first person, not third person, um, but there to be like a reason of progression, like he like you have to go back and like I can't go through into depth like everything that he talked about. He was basically explaining like an MMO in a survival world that had real consequences for life and death, and like that character that you built, that you put all this time into, that you put all these efforts and skill points and leveled and all this shit, when he dies and they're dead, you're fucked, and like you have to restart, go back, like all of that kind of stuff. So there's not like a respawn system, like that's what he was talking about.
I mean, it's also starting to sound like Scum. Scum
Yeah, I was
kind of
gonna say Scum
Kind of, but
what's it called? Life is Feudal almost.
with Scum, if you die, you still get your points still stay the same. You still
there's
respawn.
You lose if you die and you're high up, you lose skill points. Like you're not it's not completely like everything is lost, but yeah, you do lose
on the server. That's the thing too. Like all these games, a lot of them have just people who make their own servers, make their own rules, kind of thing. So
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. What are your
it,
thoughts here?
there's just I don't think they can do anything that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Is my only thing, and I mean that's fine. They can come out with a great game. I don't, and they're probably not even trying to make anything groundbreaking, and then they just want a good, you know, survival experience.
I'm not gonna lie, like
I I just
the
don't
the whole
set themselves apart from like what we already have, and I
the
actually can't think of a way that they can. I don't
the
know.
whole idea of like a massive map that takes like 20-30 minutes to get from one
Very
side to the other.
There's not many like communities that enjoy that other than
Yeah,
like
that's what I was about to say. Like DayZ had that, right? Like DayZ's original Chernogorsk took you like 20-30 minutes to get from one side to the other.
but I can't see you getting the Rust community,
But
the Arc community. I'm trying to. I don't
but
know, man.
the one thing I'll say with like that was like even DayZ players found that annoying.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there was a reason why DayZ was labeled walking simulator, 2012, was
Yeah.
because you spent more time walking than you did actually fighting. You spent 2 hours walking and like 5 minutes fighting, and then had to restart and do it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
I don't know.
what's your so the bigger thing that I want to talk about is what is your thought here on bringing these creators in to the development cycle of these games, or bringing them on as like executive leads or partners or investor or whatever? Like, what is your thought there?
I mean, like you said, it's bringing the consumer and like the actual people who are actually taking in and playing these games. I think it's what we've been needing for years for like just some of these types of games, you know, because it gives us a more sense of being connected to like the development and the development team that you know they'll see and they'll reciprocate more of what the players actually want. Hopefully, in theory, that's what it looks and sounds like to me. So I mean, it kind of like what
I
you said. I
I
can do that at least.
I also think that it needs to make sense. Like the people that they bring on need to make sense. Like if it comes down to like a competitive like Call of Duty shooter, it would make sense to bring like Doc on, right? But it would make less sense to bring like Unicorn Sparkles or whatever the fuck her name is. You know?
Right. Well, that's I'm not saying that anybody that's that companies should just be going like, oh, fuck it, Bill, come talk to us about how we make Call of Duty better. Like,
Yeah, right.
I don't think that's
Bill's
know-
Bill's getting called by Rockstar. He's like Rockstar's like, Bill, we need you. We gotta have you.
Would be able to make Call of Duty better in its current state. It's
yeah, that's true. But I think the other
these-
side.
Shroud and Sacriel, like they've picked some solid creators for for this development team to pair up with. I'd say.
Well, and I think you're going to see more and more of this, right? Like you're going to just continue to see more of these, streamers that have devoted their life to gaming become part of the space, right? We saw it with like OTK did it with Mythic, the not the talent agency, but the other they're I don't know if they own it or they're working on with that on the their MMO, right? Or looter game.
And Dr. Disrespect, it's his own company though, but I mean, still, you have more creators who might even go on to making their own companies as well.
I think it's a natural progression when it comes to like streamers. Like, there's
Yeah.
only so far you can go streaming before you need to
Of course, you got to
progress
diversify,
further.
right?
Yeah.
It's just because of how how just streaming and content creation is blowing up progressively throughout the years. They're literally getting more foundation and funding to be able and have the capability of doing this. So
Yeah. Well, I just, I think it's I think the only concern I have is like, is this a slippery slope of like what we just saw with like the Bitcoin or like cryptocurrency and like the NFT, FTX kind of bullshit, right? Where
I mean,
start-
Doc. You want to talk about
Well,
that? That's Doc 100%. Right
I mean,
there.
Doc is putting NFTs into his game. I have played his game. I have, or at least played very early builds of it and later builds of his game. And there is a full-fledged there. What's up? What's up?
Did you extract with your $100,000 NFT yet?
Yeah, no. But the element there of like, the game itself, like I will say, like there is a core game there. I'm not going to say good, bad, and different. I'm just going to say there is a core game mechanic there that is not surrounding NFTs. Now, how he is going to add NFTs into the game, that's up to them. But I'm just saying,
Well, he's going to add it into the extraction aspect, which is going to be the central mechanic of the game for improving your character.
And your NFT wallet.
He has said this.
Okay,
It's not going to just be cosmetics.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. I'm just, so okay, that's yes, they're adding everything. So my thing is there a situation where these influencers are, or I guess, is there a situation where the consumer needs to be more concerned and more, aware of like, hey, these creators are promoting this product. They have a vested interest in this product. Like, make sure that you are understanding, like, do your homework before you dump, money into whatever it may be.
I mean, it's literally just like the YouTubers who are getting, sued for promoting FTX.
Right.
I mean, because people followed them and look where that got them. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's fair too. You just have to really know and be able to trust which creators that you're following into these projects.
Well, there's 4 creators right here that you should absolutely follow everything that we say, because I mean it's pretty much the golden rule. Unless you're Enigma, then you're going to follow somebody else, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Hive Mind. Always over here.
Follow Epic. So
anyway, yeah. You're never going to live that down, by the way, ever. Oh, by the way, but since we're ending the show, and it's wrapping up, right? This is Diablo 4 Waiting Room 2. So if you're unfamiliar with why the title is named Lilith, it's because, well, Lilith is, the big baddie in D4, and D4's betas is happening. And, Enigma is held so strong against, being very wary of Blizzard and all those kind of things. And I just want to, I just want to pull out, actually, maybe this
here. I got you right now. Don't fucking buy D4. Just don't buy it until you know what you want. There you go.
Do you know what you want?
No, I don't, and I'm stupid. 100%. I'm fucking a moron for buying it. Don't do what I just did.
I'm just gonna pull this over Enigma's face real quick. I'm gonna bring this down.
I mean,
so it's not.
If you're gonna pull it over my face, you better pull it over yours too.
There is no. I have been very open about the fact that I have purchased that game and was whatever else. I'm just saying it's right there. So anyway,
100%. And I didn't make it a secret. I posted it on all of our shit.
I know.
Said this is a terrible fucking decision. I feel dirty. 100%.
The worst part about it is. The worst part about it is he could have just gone to KFC and got a fucking code. Bro, like Scruffy did.
Again.
Chicken sandwich.
The closest KFC to my house is an hour and a half away.
I
would spend more money on fucking fuel going to KFC than just paying for the fucking
Now,
game.
what I will say about this that is fucked up right, is the fact that why are we still we're talking about this over the top of fucking Shroud talking about his video game. Hold on. Is the fact that they came out with the buy a KFC thing, right? Like like a week ago, right? Like
Yeah, it's weird, man.
why did you not already have that out there? Like, cause yeah, people spent hundreds of dollars.
Because they wanted to make people
I know.
spend the money.
I
Yeah.
know why they did it. I'm just saying that's fucking shit. Like you could have.
Yeah, I just want to point out as well though, right now. It has been 5 years since I last purchased a Blizzard game.
Good for you.
That's strong.
5 years, bro.
This is just a year of
I'll
Enigma.
point out. I'll
going
point
backwards.
out. I'll point out. I am a fucking Diablo guy, one through and through. And if they fuck me, I will never purchase. You can. I will stick to my guns.
They might as well
right
cut
now.
him out of the Microsoft deal
now,
right
yep.
there.
If we ever get fucking sponsored by Blizzard, no, fuck you.
No.
If you fuck me, Blizzard, I fuck you. You fuck me, I fuck you.
What? Wow.
Is going to be the Sony saying you can't. Pre-batch podcast cannot get acquired.
Yep, I will be the only reason why we don't get sponsored by Blizzard.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, chat, that is our show. Episode 78 is in the bag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a blast talking about everything. And
I know we didn't ask, but
what's up? Oh yeah, if there's questions, feel free to put them in there, as well as you guys can join our Discord. You can get that information from our link tree. It's all a circle. It's a circle. There's no end. It's not a triangle. It's a circle. But you can go to our link tree, get our Discord information, pop those questions into our Discord, chat with fellow lovers and fans of ours, as well as in the community, the PPP, and
you know me.
Just have a good time. But you can post the questions there. You can send us emails. You can get in touch with us in several different ways. But a quick update, just to make sure that you guys know, we will not be having a show next week. We will be on site at PAX East, getting information and things like that. So when we get back from PAX, we will have a show that following week. So we're going to skip next week. Enjoy your time off. Don't miss us too much, which I know you will. It's okay. Don't cry. You have 78 other episodes you can listen to. But we will be back for episode 79 in 2 weeks at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here across both of our channels on Twitch as well as YouTube. So, but that's the show. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed it. Diablo 4 is tomorrow. Can't fucking wait. I am so excited. I am
Blizzard. You fuck me. Fuck you.
I'm waiting to. It's either going to be ecstasy or pure rage tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow's the day the world either is remade or ends.
It is. Literally, the apocalypse is happening, and it's happening inside of fucking Diablo. So, yeah. But Enigma, are you going to be streaming tomorrow the D4 stuff?
I'm gonna say yes, but probably not.
Okay. Well, I will be streaming tomorrow.
I will try and throw up a stream. I'm definitely gonna be playing when it releases if I can.
I think that's all of us if we can. If it doesn't,
yeah.
dude, I maybe the early access won't get fucking swarmed, but I feel like with this KFC bullshit, it's about to crash. Like it's gonna go down.
Not only that, but the fact that they have the KFC way to get beta keys or alpha keys, right? But then they have like a secret. They in their little thing, they're like, and you can get keys from a secret source, and we'll give you more information about that.
Twitch drops.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be Twitch drops. I guarantee it.
That or you just go get yourself tattooed. Like did you see like the free hell link? Yeah. They Blizzard did a thing where you could go to different random tattoo shops across the United States at different times, and they were giving you free Diablo tattoos.
I am very hesitant about it, and the worst part is I spent the money on it. So
yeah,
I hope it is great. I need it to be good. I want it to be good. Please be good.
One thing before we wrap up, since we're not going to be doing a show next week, I also wanted to announce that my yearly birthday charity stream is going to be starting next week, Friday, March 24th through the 27th. We'll be doing 4 days of charity live streaming for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention over on my channel. If you want to join that, support by being there, support with monetary donations to the charity. all will be good. I'll be definitely making it worth your while. The beard is on the line once again. We didn't claim it last year, but we'll see if we can claim it this year.
Did
As
we
well
ever?
as
Did we ever
me
figure out a money value for the eyebrows?
like I said, throw the money out there, and once I hit an appropriate amount in my head, we will. I'll commit. But I don't know what that is.
You're gonna
Well,
make me
you're
buy
gonna-
a KFC chicken to get those things off.
You guys like Blizzard games, right? So you like mystery
Yeah,
mechanics, right?
I do
But-
like
So
gotcha games.
This is just a mystery mechanic.
I will give you 4 schmeckles and a kiss.
I'll do loot boxes for the eyebrows,
Same.
and I won't tell you the odds.
Here, you know what? Here's what we do. You're gonna put it on a massive wheel, right? And you have a bunch of different prizes. That's like or actually just a thing that's gonna have like 100,000 different. Don't shave, don't no shave, no shave, no shave. But there's gonna be one sliver that says shave my eyebrows, and
Exactly.
every single time that I donate, you have to spin that fucking wheel. I'll take those chances.
You know what? That's actually a really good idea for the
Like
next
a
for next year's
zero-
stream, to have all of the incentives on a wheel. That would be really cool.
0.0016 chance.
And I fucking will pop that shit on the first spin.
Oh, God.
So,
But yes,
Anyway, yeah.
charity stream 24th through the 27th. If you
Okay.
want to be there, that's fine. Support it just by being there. I would greatly appreciate it, and the charity would appreciate it too. So, yeah.
woo.
and it's my birthday, so you can come at least see celebrate my birthday with me. Turn into Dirty 30.
Nice.
Oh, it's all downhill after 30, man. Everything
Nice.
starts fucking hurting. Just letting you know. You
You
start hearing pops and creaks out of things you didn't even know popped and creaked. So, but yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any game? What you know what games you're gonna be playing?
Resident Evil 4 comes out the first day of it, so we'll be playing through that on at least day 1. After that, it's kind of up in the air, whatever I'm feeling at the time. There's definitely going to be some community games. We're going to be playing definitely some Rainbow Six Siege, probably some Phasmophobia, a few other games along those lines. Maybe jump back in the League at some point,
Woo!
and some
Wild Hearts.
probably some Souls likes and some platformers for some of the challenges. Wild Hearts, that too, 100%. So
Awesome. Well, there you go.
I'll have more details coming out at the start of next week.
Nice. Scruffy, you got anything? What do you got going on this week?
Really, actually, nothing new. Just still the same old. Just probably Modern Warfare, Hogwarts Legacy, and Atomic Heart.
We all say Hogwarts Legacy, and none of us have gone
Oh.
back to that game, unfortunately.
I went back to it.
Oh, shut up, you don't
I've
count.
played it. Fuck you.
I did go back to Atomic Heart though, so I'm showing promise that I might go back to Hogwarts.
Hey, they brought out an FOV slider for you. You don't have to,
It works. It's good.
So,
Yeah.
how do you release a game without an FOV slider?
I don't know. but-
2023. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, that's the end of the show. Y'all have an amazing. Actually, you know what? Hold on one sec. I do want to do one thing.
What?
Because I want to
You're
do.
giving me whiplash here.
Sorry, I want to do one thing. It's important. There's I'm not gonna say the member's name, but there's a member of our community that is in our channel. That is in all of our channels. That had a health scare that happened this week, and whatever else. And I just want to give all the love to them. And everything came back great. Everything came back clean. But just want to let you guys know that here, we are a very close-knit community. We, send all of the good vibes, love, prayers, whatever it may be out in the world, to hope that, you guys have, the best, possible outcomes to anything that you need, or life, or whatever else. So I just want to say, like, to that person, much love, super happy that that all the results came back negative. And without each and every single one of you in our community, we would not be who we are. As small as we are, and we're continuing to grow to as big as we get. Each and every single one of you matter. So I know I speak for myself as well as the rest of the crew here on the pre-patch team. Much love to you, and much love to everybody that follows us and supports us in what we do. So I want to put that out there.
Love.
All right, guys. Well, we're out skis. I will see you guys, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Installation.